there's not going to be a restriction on getting that drug as part of an abortion protocol.
Fox's Shannon Bream. Former President Trump's in D.C. meeting with House Republicans this morning. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Fox Business.
He said very complimentary things about all of us. We had sustained applause. He said, I'm doing a very good job. I mean, we're grateful for that.
Former president meets with senators this afternoon. President Biden's at the G7 summit in Italy. Fox's Peter Ducey with more on that and the president's son Hunter's conviction on federal gun charges.
White House officials would much rather talk about ceasefire talks in Gaza, Russia's war on Ukraine, trade imbalances with China, AI threats, and then developmental issues in Africa, according to the list that they gave us. But if the Hunter stuff does come up, President Biden has a chance to clarify a key point of confusion. He and his team have long been quick to say Hunter Biden will not be pardoned. However, they are dodging questions as recently as the Air Force One trip to Italy about whether or not Hunter's sentence will wind up being commuted. If that wasn't going to happen, they could just say so, like they did with the pardon.
The president scheduled to hold a news conference with Ukraine's President Zelensky in a little over an hour. America's listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Is your timeshare suffocating you? Are you feeling powerless because you were sold a bad investment that is nothing like you were promised? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. If you're ready to get rid of that timeshare, I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free, exposing the timeshare industry scams with all your options for cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about summertime this afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny skies. 95 for the high today with moderate humidity. Tonight, a couple of scattered evening thunderstorms, mainly to our north, but we'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, partly cloudy and 72. Friday, sunny 92. Saturday, sunny 95. And Sunday, sunny and 99. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you have an IRS problem, getting accurate legal advice could help get this all behind you right now. Hi, I'm local attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. The IRS made new changes that make it easier to settle your IRS debt for a reduced amount. Not all our clients qualify, but under the IRS's new Fresh Start program, you may be able to resolve your IRS problems quickly and for less money. But don't wait. An IRS problem is a legal problem. You need someone who understands both the IRS and the law. Don't trust your tax problems to some TV personality. The Drury Law Firm has handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years, and your first visit is completely free and confidential. And I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to LanceDruryLaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
All right, this has nothing to do with air conditioning. I know, like I make commercials about goofy stuff like cicadas or anything. But you know what I mean. But everybody's supposed to go to the dentist at certain intervals, like 6 months or at least once a year. But we don't. And the reason we don't is when you go there, it hurts. I have a very, very good tip for you. Yenzer Family Dental. Yenzer. Yenzer. Family Dental. It might be a drive. I go there. If he's taking clients, I'm in their book. Full disclosure, he is a brother-in-law, but it's 10 years of an anniversary of 10 years of his private practice and all state-of-the-art stuff. And it is painless. If I say it's painless, pretty painless. Yenzer Family Dental.
Thinking of popping the question? Diamonds Direct has an offer you can't miss. This month only, buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. No one provides education, selection, and value like Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet from your friends at Diamonds Direct won't last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Tomorrow you're going to the NROC. First time. You haven't spoken to Trump since December 2020, from what we understand. Do you plan to confront any of the bad blood between the two of you or any of the issues you had, including over January 6th?
You know, I said 3 years ago, right after the Capitol was attacked, that I would support our nominee, regardless of who it was, including him. I've said earlier this year, I support him. He's earned the nomination by the voters all across the country. And of course, I'll be at the meeting tomorrow.
And of course, that was Senator Mitch McConnell, still the minority leader for the Republicans in the Senate. But as of the end of this term, he will be stepping down in leadership, not from his position. I know when that announcement came out, it was a little confusing. Like, is he stepping down? Is he leaving? No, he's not leaving. He's staying. Just not going to be in leadership anymore. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. It's a very kind of busy day today in politics, with Donald Trump returning to Washington, D.C. to meet with the Republicans in Congress. And we're going to speak with Congresswoman Mary Miller at 1:25, assuming Donald Trump doesn't take too much of her time. She, of course, represents Illinois' 15th district in Congress, and we're going to ask her about that experience. We'll see what she can tell us, if she was certainly in attendance there. And also, we're going to talk to her about some Title IX legislation that she has put forward. At 12:25, though, we're going to have Hans von Spakovsky on here. So that's just about 15 minutes from right now. And we're going to talk to Hans, about some of the SCOTUS rulings that have just come down. The Supreme Court has made a ruling of sorts on an abortion pill drug. And let's listen to what MSNBC had to say about it.
What we know right now is that the Supreme Court has dismissed this mifepristone case, meaning that this access to this abortion pill, as we have it right now, remains standing. It's a unanimous decision, which, of course, this is in some ways noteworthy because this is a 6-3 majority conservative court. But they're saying that the doctors who brought this lawsuit against the FDA challenging access to the abortion pill, that they lack standing. So this is really punting it, saying that this will continue to have access. So if you're a woman who's wondering whether or not you will have access to this abortion pill, for now, mifepristone continues to be accessible through telehealth, through mail.
Yeah, this is something. Oh, my computer's playing. Sorry about that. Mifepristone is an abortion pill that you can fill out a form online and have delivered to your house, and you can just self-induce abortion. And it's a very controversial method because there's really not a lot of medical supervision involved in that process. Fox News reports that the Supreme Court on Thursday ruled against a challenge to the Food and Drug Administration's regulatory approval process of the abortion drug mifepristone. In the latest abortion case since the landmark decision in 2022 that overturned Roe v. Wade. In a victory for the Biden administration and abortion rights supporters, the High Court gave a unanimous decision that challengers to the FDA lacked standing to sue the government. So this is where I become interested in the legalese of what we're talking about. If you just wait and hear what the pundits say, even if you just wait to hear what I would have to say, you'd have to trust that those individuals knew exactly the legal foundational understanding of what that ruling is. And I admittedly don't. So we have guys like Hans von Spakovsky on to break that down for us. So we'll have that conversation in 15 minutes. The Biden administration has come out and championed the left in their position on protecting women's right to choose and to continue to have as much possible access to abortion as possible. And of course, we will wait and see what happens with those states specifically. Now that the Supreme Court has ruled on Roe v. Wade, what will happen with the next challenge that will most definitely be coming on the abortion pill. So I'm not gonna belabor. If you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know that I'm pro-life. My pro-life position, it really has nothing to do with politics. Is that weird to say? I mean, sure, there are political solutions to abortion. I guess so. But I don't really believe that the solution to saving the lives of the unborn goes through a legislation or a legislature. I just really think that the idea that abortion is resting in the hands of men and women who are elected to represent those individuals, those constituents, I feel like it's actually more important than that even. That it shouldn't be boiled down or Pontius Pilated to some sort of legislature. I mean, I think that the idea of abortion here, the part of abortion that breaks my heart, and I think, I'm going out on a limb here, but there are people listening right now who are very fiscally conservative, don't like the way that Joe Biden is taking our country economically, would like to see something different be done there. They're okay with abortion. They're at least not going to interject their own personal thoughts and opinions about abortion onto somebody else. I bet that describes many of you listening right now. The idea of abortion is a sad thing. It is not something you want to think about. But you're also going to, I think the thought process here is stay in your own lane and not interject your thoughts and opinions on the issue into somebody else's life, because it is a sad thing. You know that it's a very difficult decision for someone to make. You don't really like it. If it were up to you, no babies would be aborted, but you just feel like it's not up to you. I think that's the way the majority of America is on abortion. And what that results in is more pro-choice legislation. The reason why I really don't feel as though abortion should be placed in the hands of legislators is because we have a culture right now that does one of two things. The first, and the super callous one, is the complete and total dismissal of abortion as the ending of a life, the ending of an unborn baby's life. We don't collectively agree on what is actually taking place during that abortion. If you ask me, I believe that life begins at conception. Many of you don't believe that. I have the right to believe that. You have the right not to believe that. If you don't think that life begins at if you don't think that life begins at conception, then my question to you is, well, when does life begin? And some of you will say, I think that life begins when the baby is born. Scientifically, I have a struggle with that response because babies are born at all different times all the time. I have had babies up until 39 weeks and 6 days. I've had babies at 39 weeks. I've often told the story about a dear friend of mine who was born in the 80s at 23 weeks. I just recently heard a story of a baby who was born, I think they said 21 weeks, which was by far the earliest that I've ever heard of a baby being born and living. I don't understand why the location on one side or the other of a woman's stomach could justify the laws that we have on murder on the outside and eliminate the protection that that child has on the inside just because of its location. I'm not saying that to be, argumentative or aggressive. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, many people will say, well, Annie, when it's inside the mother's womb, then it's part of the woman's body. That's true, it is. But it's also not. That child has its own DNA, its own limbs, its own heartbeat, its own existence. The location is just inside the womb of the mother. And I really have to ask myself, if that child, let's just cut the difference, no pun intended, 30 weeks. Should we all collectively agree that a child can very much so live outside of the womb with not an enormous amount of difficulty if born 30 weeks in? Shouldn't that life be protected? And I know a lot of you are saying, yeah, but I don't understand how that's going to affect any particular mother. I don't understand the existence that she's going to have, the struggles that she's going to have, and I just don't feel like I can weigh in there. Well, that's where I think that we really, societally, culturally, politically, lose our way. Because if you make it just a political argument, politics is about legislation, and legislation is about laws, and laws are about doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. And if you do the wrong thing, if you break the law, most of the time, you're going to have to face the consequences of breaking that law. If you stay within the law, then you're fine. You're good. Good to go. So if you just leave the question of abortion, if you just leave the question of that specific instance of that 30-week-old child that is born early for whatever particular reason, if you just leave that life in the hands of the law, it's just about somebody doing something right or doing something wrong. But it still results in a child being born into a situation that is more stressful than it needs to be. Because even when you have a child with all the stars aligned, it's still a challenge. It's still difficult. It still costs a ton of money, and it costs an enormous amount of time and sacrifice on those who are bringing that child into the world. And I'm hoping that there are two people. I want to know how we can, as conservatives, just leave this to political outcome and feel okay about it. Because you know what has to happen to that child who could be born at 30 weeks and live a very healthy and good life, or could just be still nestled in the womb of the mother at 30 weeks with 10 more weeks to go? If that woman is scared, if that woman doesn't know if she can handle it, if that woman isn't confident she can afford it, if that woman knows that she has struggles in life that might preclude that child from being raised in a situation where that child is going to have the opportunity to succeed in life, if that woman knows, I can't raise this child, then as conservatives, why are we not pouring all of our time and energy into making adoption affordable, into making adoption accessible, into making adoption an option for these women who are struggling and need support and need love and need a sense of societal, secular, cultural mercy? Where are we on that issue? Because I just don't politically see that as the end game. I do believe that those who are fighting for life politically have the greatest intentions at heart. I don't think that the end game is to say this is right and this is wrong and that's all that matters. But if you only fight for abortion elimination or the mass reductions of abortions in our country, if you only fight along political lines for that, at the end of the day, you're trying to determine right from wrong. And when you've determined what is right, that's the celebration. None of that helps those mothers who are afraid, who are disadvantaged, who are alone. None of that helps those mothers. It just determines that their choice in the matter needs to go the way that the law has determined, and they will feel the burden of that choice regardless of the direction that they take. I want to encourage you so much, every step we take towards Election Day, to watch what the Democrats are trying to do with this issue of abortion. Watch how they are trying to paint you. If you are somebody who thinks that abortion ends the life of a child, look at how the Democrats use their words to try to make you the villain. And understand that at the end of the day, they are fighting only on political grounds because all they care about is where the vote goes. They don't care about those women who are sitting alone in a clinic who've been told one thing and know that 10 years down the road when they've met somebody, they've married somebody, and they're pregnant with their first child and they're waiting to see the heartbeat for the first time or to determine whether it's a boy or a girl for the first time, they are going to look at that ultrasound and say, I was lied to that first time. And they're always going to think about the child that they lost. Nobody cares if it's just a political battle about that woman who may not have ever told anybody that she was in that clinic 10 years ago. The compassion to save the lives of the unborn happens by supporting those women. And if the rhetoric surrounding the issue is only something we invest in so that people vote a certain way on a certain day, none of that is virtuous. And I don't believe any of it will result in the greater good. The result of the pro-life movement has to be about saving the lives of the unborn and upholding the women who are choosing life. Backing them up, lifting them up, supporting them to raise that child or to do the unthinkable, to give up that child's life to somebody else who can care for it. The easy way out in the moment is abortion. And the left is banking on abortion to get them across the finish line in November. Imagine that. Trying to win election on a pile of dead bodies. And looking the other way of the women who had to make that choice in the process. We can't be like that. We've got to be better than that. Abortion is not the issue in November that should have you picking this candidate or that candidate. Every time you feel that gut visceral reaction when you hear a story about abortion or you see the celebrations, the almost demonic sort of religiosity of abortion that exists on the left, if that doesn't spawn you to go visit a women's clinic that doesn't provide abortions, to bring a package of diapers, to bring some formula, to ask them, call them, what do you need? Will $10 help you? Is there a woman I can talk to? Is there a place for me here to be helpful? That action will save the lives of the unborn way before some politician ever will. So do we want to win elections? Or do we want to win on the ultimate issue that will save those lives? Ask yourself that question every time this issue comes up. Every time you see somebody on the left shaking their fist in your face, calling you names, saying all these terrible things about you because you want the lives of the unborn to be protected. Whenever they do that, don't shout back at them. Go show up somewhere else and help. Every time. Donate $1 for every time you see somebody trying to use abortion to get votes. Put it in action. We'll save lives and maybe win an election. But in that order. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Hans von Spakovsky is going to tell us more about this Supreme Court ruling on the abortion pill. What does it mean? And what doesn't it mean? And what will happen next? Will we see more challenges when it comes to the the abortion pill? He'll tell us. He'll break it down for us what it means when we hear court doesn't have standing. Hans von Spakovsky on the Annie Fry Show. Next.
The noose out, hang up my heart, let it air out. I've been searching.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
When I lose sight, life gets blurry and things might hurt me. It's probably gonna be a long journey, but hey, it's worth it though. Cold world out there, kids, grab your coats. Been a minute, I know, now I'm back to Rome. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty vivid, I admit it, I'm in classic mode. Don't need pity given to me, but I can't condone. Talking down to me, I'ma have to crack your nose for cracking jokes. I'm looking for the map, the hope, you see that? They're making a whole lot of changes. Wrote a song about that, you should play it. I get scared when I walk on these stages. I look at the crowd and see so many faces. Yeah, that's when I start to get anxious. That's when my thoughts can be dangerous. That's when I put on my makeup and drown in self-hatred. Forget what I'm saying and where the beat go? Oh, ain't that something?
Let's talk about the Retirement Advisory Group and making sure that your retirement is one of ease, anxiety-free. Yeah, those all sound great. When you are of the age of retirement, you're thinking about it, you're very close to it. You got to make some smart moves. And, I don't know. I'm not there yet, but I don't know how you know how to make those moves if you don't talk to the experts. That's why we work with Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw and the Retirement Advisory Group because they're experts at it. They're the ones who understand exactly where you are sitting right now, looking at retirement. It's getting very, very close, and you want to make sure that you got all your ducks in a row. That's what they do. Reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group and sit down and have a free conversation with them. Costs you nothing. And at the end of that conversation, you don't have to do anything, but you might want to. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494 is the number to call. Tell them Annie sent you and set up that no-cost, no-obligation retirement review today. You'll be happy you did. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything and you don't have to do anything, but you probably will want to. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey, Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
It's time to plan that outdoor project for this summer, and Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the only company you need to talk to. 636-532-4054 or chesterfieldfence.com. If you call them right now, you mention my name, Mark Cox, you'll get a special discount for the month of June. You'll get 20% off an installed outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. That is a great deal. If you've got their sign in your yard, it's a sign you have the very best. Locally owned and operated for 56 years under the same ownership. A Better Business Bureau Torch Award winner, so you know you're working with a great company. Whether it's an outdoor sunroom, a screen room, a pergola, patios, they can even do retaining walls. And, of course, they do fences and decks, and such a great job. ChesterfieldFence.com or 636-532-4054. Again, ChesterfieldFence.com or 636-532-4054.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
It's what's happening
To do what I can on my own to address the border.
right now,
What he signed means nothing.
keeping you informed.
Agents are directed to release migrants from all countries in the Eastern Hemisphere except for 6 countries.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Summertime is finally here. That old ballpark man is
This
back
is
in
the
gear
Annie Fry
on
Show.
49.
Follow Annie on Twitter
I can see
at
the
Annie Fry
lights.
Show.
School's out and the night's rolling, man. Just like a long lost friend you ain't seen in a while. You can't help but smile. And it's 2 bare feet on the dashboard.
Well, kind of wondering why did they take this made-up case to begin with? This was a made-up case for an agenda, and it was bizarre that they took it. And I think obviously it was a hot potato. Now they've gotten rid of it. But it doesn't mean that the women of America are free. As we know, Donald Trump recently celebrated the overturning of Roe v. Wade as a beautiful decision.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Wiggins!
Let's get to Hans von Spakovsky. Sorry about that, Hans. The SCOTUS ruling that is taking place that we just found out today regarding contraception, the mifepristone drug, the abortion pill that you can have delivered to your door. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Hans von Spakovsky with us now, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a former FEC Commissioner. Hans, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's important for everybody to understand that this was not a substantive decision. The Supreme Court did not say that what happened here wasn't dangerous, and it was dangerous because, as you know, what happened was, the FDA just suddenly said, "Oh yeah, this drug, which in the past has required a doctor's prescription, doctor's supervision because it can potentially have dangerous side effects. Well, we're just throwing all that out, and basically anybody can get it over the counter." I mean, that's in essence what they did. And a whole group of different doctors sued, saying, "Look, this is really dangerous." They didn't follow their own rules when they suddenly threw out these regulations, didn't take into account the safety concerns, et cetera. But the Supreme Court basically came back and said, well, actually, you doctors groups, you don't have standing to sue. In other words, you personally don't have an injury that would allow you to actually bring a lawsuit in court. So, the point of this is that they didn't make a decision about the rationality of a decision made by this government agency. They just simply said these particular doctors don't have the ability to do this. We may see this come up again before the court by some woman who is injured by the use of this drug because which she'll be able to blame on them relaxing the rules, saying you don't need a doctor's supervision, et cetera. She would have standing to actually bring a lawsuit.
So, okay, that makes some sense. We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky right now. So it's like the Supreme Court 9-0 said, you are not the right people to bring this conversation up. And they just said, no, we're not going to have the conversation. Somebody else might be, but we're not even going to go there. Is that essentially what happened then?
You just summarized in 2 sentences what it took me a lot longer to summarize. But that's exactly right.
No, I needed your explanation to get there, because this does. If you're watching this just through the lens of the blue colored lens or the red color lens, and abortion is always trying to be worked in and amplified as a key issue in these elections. The left is out there saying that, this is a resounding win for abortion rights, and the left is out there to protect your right to an abortion. The right is essentially saying it's time to regroup and to retry. But it seems to me like there was no actual discussion on the merits of the drug that is being questioned. It just wasn't the right avenue to get it. How did it get all the way to the Supreme Court and then not lose standing? That's kind of another question I have.
Well, because the lower courts, this came up from the Fifth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. The Fifth Circuit is in the kind of southwest part of the country, covers states like Texas. And there, the Fifth Circuit said these plaintiffs did have standing to sue and would likely prevail. Look, just not to repeat what I just said, but keep in mind, this drug was originally approved in 2000 by the FDA under very strict safety restrictions, including having to obtain the drug in person from a doctor who then had to report all the medical complications from the drug's use. All that just simply got dropped by the FDA to make this freely available. That was a political decision by the FDA. It certainly was not one based on medicine and the potentially side effects of using this drug.
Yeah. I mean, I know I have been involved in a lot of pro-life activism on my own time, and I understand the dangers of this drug, especially outside of medical supervision. You can take this pill in your home, induce the abortion in your home, and have the whole abortion in your home, and it oftentimes will result in individuals who are experiencing this at home finding their way to the emergency room because the abortion doesn't complete, and that's a very scary and dangerous thing. What kind of timeline could we be looking at for this to be retried with people who would have standing? I mean, is there any speed with which that would take place?
Yeah, no, there's no way to tell how fast that might or might not happen. Like I said, the ideal plaintiff is a woman who has suffered grievous injuries because of the way the FDA changed the rules, because there was no requirement for a doctor to first examine her, et cetera. And, you know, when will that happen? I don't know. And then, you know, who knows how quickly a court would take up the case.
Yeah. And a tragedy in and of itself that's what would have to happen.
Yes. Absolutely true.
Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. I would like to ask you to kind of set up the rest of the remainder of June for us as we watch the Supreme Court. Of course, we've got that presidential immunity one, the very big one. I remember when Roe v. Wade, we were waiting on that. You, along with other experts, were thinking it would come as late as possible. Do you think that's the same thing with the presidential immunity ruling? Is it going to be the last one they release right before they get out of town, or how's that going to go?
Listen, Anna, your guess is as good as mine.
That's not true.
They've got about 24 cases left that they have not yet issued decisions on. And not only are we waiting for the presidential immunities case, we're waiting for the other case related to all the J6 prosecutions where the government was using this provision of federal law saying, well, you're engaging in criminal activity if you interfere with an official proceeding. That we're waiting for that. Also, we're waiting for the decision on the case filed by Louisiana and Missouri over the fact that the Biden administration was secretly working with social media companies to censor the accounts and opinions of Americans. That's a really, really important case, and we haven't gotten a decision on that yet either.
So there really is no suggestion on timing, like the priority or the magnitude of the trial won't necessarily determine the release.
No, not at all. By the way, I thought this was actually kind of funny. There was a decision released today involving Donald Trump, but nobody paid any attention to it. It was a guy who tried to trademark the phrase Trump too small. And he wanted to put it on T-shirts and things like that. And when the patent office said, well, you can't do that, you can't patent somebody's name without getting their permission, he sued saying, well, that violates my First Amendment rights. And the court today, 9-0, said, no. Not a First Amendment issue. You can't trademark somebody's name without first getting their consent.
Oh, I'm glad you brought us up to speed on that one. Well, Hans, as I understand it, they come out, Thursdays and Fridays for the rest of June? Or anytime?
Yeah, but they often, when they get towards the end of the term and they still have a lot of decisions, they'll suddenly schedule release dates. So we just don't know when. I mean, we may get a couple of days notice that they have set up a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Friday to release decisions, but we'll find out pretty soon.
Well, we're on the edge of our seat. It's a greatly impactful session, and we're interested to see how it ends up. Hans, we love having you on the show. Thanks for being back with us.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Of course. Bye-bye. Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow for the Heritage Foundation and former FEC Commissioner, here with us on the Annie Frey Show. His book, Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. Go get it. Grab it. I have it at home. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America in. Okay, let's see. Food news. Food news. That's the information that I have. He's always given us a little bit of a tidbit here and a little bit of a tidbit there. So let's get the latest from Ryan Wiggins in studio when we come back.
It's summertime. Sweet summertime.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Window World, windowworld.com, the reliable replacement window that you have been looking for. You want, of course, you need a good window. That's important. You also need a good price, but you don't want to go through the hassle, the super high pressure situation that might come from having to entertain different companies for those replacement windows. Enter Window World. They don't do that crap. They just aren't there to make sure that they force you into buying their windows, because their windows kind of sell themselves. They're beautiful windows. They're efficient windows. They have great prices on their windows, and they wrap all of that around with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. Lots of places don't include the labor, which means you're still paying out of pocket. When you are interested in investing in replacement windows for your house, remember that right now, Window World, they haven't done this before, but they're doing it now, 36 months, same as cash, with approved credit. That makes the job a lot easier to get done. So you can reach out to them and schedule an appointment today. 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800. Make sure you let them know that Annie sent you. Tell them you heard about them on the Annie Frey Show, and get that conversation going today. Get a free in-home estimate. Simply the best for less. windowworld.com.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boone's Lick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now, founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boone's Lick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home's being built? Mark Cox here for my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. She can do that for you. Here's a problem many home sellers find themselves in. I want to sell my home, but where will I move? Plus, I need the funds from my current home to go purchase our next home. Gloria understands this. That's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which allows you to sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months. I love Gloria Liu because she thinks of every dilemma a home seller could go through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the only agent I trust, Gloria Liu, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, double A, MCO.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. This is traditionally supposed to be Wiggins America, and the saxophone is very appropriate, but we're going to take it from Ryan Wiggins real quick and give it to the former and potentially next president of the United States. Donald Trump is speaking right now after meeting with Republicans in the House and the Senate. Let's listen in and hear what Donald Trump has to say.
We want to see strong military. We want to see money not wasted all over the world. We don't want to see Russian ships right off the coast of Florida, which is what they are right now. That's unthinkable. We want to see just success for our country. And we don't have success right now. We have inflation that's killing everybody. We have levels of inflation that nobody's seen for, they say 42 years, they say 53 years, and they say 75 years. I would say probably all of them are wrong. Probably we've never seen levels like this before. And we're going to end that. We're going to bring back our jobs. We're going to bring back common sense to government. We're going to have strong borders, and we're going to have people come into our country, but they're going to come in legally. They're not going to pour in from prisons all over South America and all over the world. And it's not just South America, by the way. It's all over the world. And we're not going to have them pour in from mental institutions, which is where they're coming from. Large numbers, and large numbers are terrorists, and we're not going to have this. So what's happening to our country is of great concern to the group of people standing alongside of me, and I just wanted to say that we have great unity, we have great common sense, a lot of very smart people in this room, and a lot of people that love our country. They love our country beyond just about all else. And the only thing that maybe supersedes it is their family and maybe their faith in certain instances, and that's very nice. But they want this country to be great again, and we're going to make it great again. And so I just want to thank the Republican Senate, and I want to thank also the House. We met, as you know, with the full House, Republican House today, and we had a tremendous meeting with them also, and there's great unity. Very similar, different topics, actually, but not that different. And there's one thing in common. We want to make America great again. We want to make our country great again. We're a nation that's in decline. We're a declining nation. We're a nation that is being laughed at all over the world. We have a leader that's being laughed at all over the world. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast. The polls are looking like they're very strongly for us. And no matter where you look, in fact, a lot of states that people thought weren't in play are very strongly in play. Some were actually leading in. But we have to get elected. We have to take this beautiful place, and we have to make it really something very special again. Right now, it's not special. Right now, it's being scorned and being used as an example of when they look at the crime on the streets, when they look at all of the problems that we have, they're using us as a bad example of democracy, and they're getting away with murder, and we're not going to let it happen. So I just want to thank you for coming, and I want to thank everybody here. You're all either elected or you're going to be elected again and reelected, and I'm with every one of you, and you know that. I'll be with you always. And thank you very much for inviting me, and we're going to have great success. I think we're going to have a tremendous election. It's November 5th is very important, but we really start much earlier than that. You have North Carolina as an example. You have North Carolina September 6th. You have Pennsylvania starts on September 22nd. These are things different from the old days. We had Election Day, and you had paper ballots, and you had voter ID. Unfortunately, maybe someday we'll get back to that, but you don't have that right now. But this is an outstanding group of people. I'm with them 1,000%. They're with me 1,000%. We agree just about on everything, and if there isn't, we work it out. And I've had a really great relationship with just about everybody here, just about all of the senators. And if it wasn't fantastic, it gets worked out. And we have one thing in mind, and that's making our country great. So thank you all very much. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
So President Trump speaking from Washington, D.C., every time he says great success, I just think of Borat. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think the majority of America thinks of Borat when they hear great success.
Great success. King of the Castle. I don't really know much about that movie.
That swimsuit. That's all I think about.
I was not in a position to watch that whole movie and sit down and watch that whole movie because I was intended to. I was there while the movie was on. And those are the takeaways.
I mean, watching that movie intentionally and watching that movie while it's on the background are basically the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
So you didn't miss a whole lot.
I don't think I was in the correct mental state either to truly appreciate it.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Wiggins America here at 12:50. It's food news, so a little bit of a departure from the politics, although politics is involved in everything, isn't it? This story is one that is being called controversial by a lot of people, not just online, but also on the Today Show. Tell me if you think this is controversial. On June 5th, a franchisee in Hammond, Louisiana, announced, as a Chick-fil-A franchise, a unique experience for kids, the Chick-fil-A Summer Camp. Admission for the camp was $35 and consisted of 1 or 3-hour sessions with team leaders. Kids ages 5 to 12 were invited to participate in the Chick-fil-A Summer Camp.
What do you do?
I think you just spend time with the workers, the cow, the team leaders, and you see a behind-the-scenes look at the inner workings of a franchise location. It was so popular, all sessions sold out in an hour, and the restaurants added 3 more sessions on the next day. But the internet didn't like that. They said, yay, child labor. This is crazy. Why would they do this?
I say yay, child labor. I'm like, Charlie, come on, you need 1 more year on you.
Exactly.
And I can send you to work.
Yes. This is super weird. Are these people trained in child care? Asked someone else, with a commenter adding, teach them nice and early how to be a corporate wage slave.
I would love to just leave them on a farm for 48 hours.
Amen. This stuff shocks me. And of course, it's the Today Show, so they're probably picking it up because it's Chick-fil-A. If this were anybody else, would it cause this much of a furor? I doubt it. But there you go. There's your first in food news. Now, here's a preference I have. A question for both Annie and Brad here. What if you had to pick, and you had a variety. Let's say you were at a Cardinals baseball game, or you're at a big barbecue. You grab a hot dog, and you have every possible topping you could think of. What's the first one you choose?
Ketchup.
I was going to say ketchup and then mustard.
Dang it, you guys, I was hoping for something more interesting. That's what I would choose too.
It ain't mayo.
It's ketchup, and you know where this is going because mayo is apparently way, way more popular. I'm glad to report that this isn't just an internet trend, that people aren't like, oh, mayo is way better, and people are trying it. Apparently, this has been going on for some time. And when they surveyed people over the last few years since 2021, mayo was one of the top condiments. 19% or 1 in 5 would choose mayo on their hot dog.
That's wild. I don't think I've ever had mayo on my hot dog.
I haven't either, but every time I try mayo on anything, it's pretty good.
Maybe you're just trying other things on your mayo.
Hey, maybe. I'm just a big fan of mayo. It's the same with butterscotch. If I put butterscotch on it, I'm probably going to like it, although I don't think butterscotch on a hot dog would be very good. Number 1 condiment in America.
What about butterscotch on your mayo?
Well, I'm not going to knock it until I try it.
I will volunteer to knock it before anybody tries it.
Number 1 condiment is not ketchup. Any guesses?
Relish.
Mustard.
It is mustard, Annie.
Yeah, mustard.
Yeah, relish is down there at 41%, ketchup 61%, mustard is 68%. This is of people who would use it. Onions is 44%, chili. That's actually one of my top ones
condiment?
too. Is considered a topping. 30%, and cheese is one of my other ones at almost 30% as well.
I consider cheese a condiment, although I don't know what's the definition.
I think they're more saying just anything you could put on a hot dog.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a condiment.
Because I wouldn't have considered chili a condiment, but a chili cheese hot dog is nothing wrong with that.
No. They're so good.
Except for the after effect.
It's one of the reasons I love I go into a Cardinals game is if I sit in the nice seats that have all the food with them, man, I'm putting that nacho cheese on everything, including the hot dogs. It is so good. Next question for you. Do you ever skip breakfast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Regularly?
intentionally. No,
Oh, regularly.
not
yeah.
anymore.
Is this a choice or is it just busy? Is it a lifestyle thing? What?
I'm usually not hungry in the morning.
Okay.
One of the most dramatic things about my 3 months of leading into trying to be fit enough to fly with the Blue Angels was to make sure that I ate breakfast and that it was just like super protein heavy. And
Yeah.
it is probably the single best thing that I've done to contribute to my health is to not. I always used to have the mind like, if I'm not hungry, I shouldn't eat less calories, less is more, and, super counting calories. And I realized I was like killing my body because I wasn't feeding my body. So the protein heavy, and it's Greek yogurt for me, breakfast is key. And I usually try to wait until about 10:45 or 11 to have it. So it's later, but that fits my schedule.
Well, exactly, with the showtime especially. Apparently, you are right on track with the Cooper Center for Metabolism in Seattle. There's been lots of research back and forth, and of course, intermittent fasting has become popular, so people use that to go into the day now.
There's just a new story out now that says that that's not good for you anymore.
I saw that as well, but
Whatever.
this center, Metabolism Center in Seattle, says that anything for breakfast is better than nothing. They
Yeah.
say even if it's just a bite,
Yeah.
it actually gets you through.
Gets your metabolism going.
It gets your metabolism
you
going, and it gets you through the early part of the day, even if it's just to lunch or past lunch. She says, Dr. Emily Cooper from this institute says, if you don't get enough to eat early in the day, ghrelin levels rise later.
Seems legit. That's from the science.
Yeah, it's the science. She explained this, that your body is trying to make up for the stuff that you didn't miss. So it's basically exactly what you said.
Yeah.
That even if you're not hungry in the morning, eating at that time can get you through a good portion of the day.
Light and Fit yogurts. I think that's Dannon Light and Fit yogurt, vanilla. They're 80 calories. I think it's 12 grams of protein, and I eat 2 of them every morning. That's the breakfast.
And it works. It according to this study, it works. One last little quick tidbit here. Wendy's is introducing its new triple berry frosty. So again, this may not be health news, but it is something to keep on your radar that there's going to be a triple berry frosty in your future if you go to Wendy's.
Is this song how you feel about food?
No, I would say something a little more fast. Punk rock, some Ramones. This
you have angsty feelings
I don't
food?
No, like a pump me up thing. This doesn't fit, no. This doesn't fit anything ever.
That's not true. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day and the flag of the young Republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Open arms. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. Donald Trump returns to Capitol Hill. His first visit there since supporters stormed the Capitol that fateful January 6th, today invited by House Republican leaders.
It was a unifying event, and I'm grateful to the president for answering questions from our colleagues today.
New York Republican Elise Stefanik said the House Republicans are unified behind Trump. Even Senator Mitt Romney joined Senate Republicans meeting Trump on the playbook for a winning election. Fox's Grady Trimble says the Trump team is pitching Maganomics versus Bidenomics to the Business Roundtable's quarterly meeting today in D.C.
He's been giving us sort of a glimpse at his economic messaging on the campaign trail, talking a lot about lowering taxes and reducing regulations.
We had the greatest economy in history. What we did in taxes, nobody's ever done. Even Ronald Reagan gave a big tax cut. We gave the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulatory cut. Nobody did what we did, and everybody was happy.
So for his part, President Biden was also invited to the meeting today, but since he's at the G7 summit, his chief of staff, Jeff Zients, will be here instead, making the case for Bidenomics.
And it's a packed day in Italy for President Biden at the G7, and you can hear it in his voice.
During the G7 summit, we're addressing a range of issues: clean energy, economic development, global security, food security, orderly migration, digital connectivity, and infrastructure is central to our progress across all these challenges. And one of them.
President talking about the first trans-African railway to connect the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, calling it a game changer. Next, Mr. Biden holds a joint news conference with Ukraine President Zelensky. Italy's prime minister has had to stage direct the president a little bit on where to go next. I'm Therese Crowley. This is Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Is your timeshare suffocating you? Are you feeling powerless because you were sold a bad investment that is nothing like you were promised? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. If you're ready to get rid of that timeshare, I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free, exposing the timeshare industry scams with all your options for cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about summertime this afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny skies. 95 for the high today with moderate humidity. Tonight, a couple of scattered evening thunderstorms, mainly to our north, but we'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, partly cloudy and 72. Friday, sunny 92. Saturday, sunny 95. And Sunday, sunny and 99. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. You can literally sell now and stay in your home as long as you like. When you sell your home to Truehold for its best current value, you can fully cash out your home's equity. And you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance too. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get an offer now while your home's value is sky high and use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's current best value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Go to Truehold.com now. That's Truehold.com.
Guys, you know summer is just around the corner. Get yourself in shape now. Let my friends at Victory Men's Health help you. Mark Cox here. You know Victory is offering semaglutide, approved by the FDA for overweight adults. It's a game changer. On average, people are losing up to 15% of their body weight. Be sure and visit my friends at Victory Men's Health in Wing Haven, their newest location in Sunset Hills. They're also in Town and Country and in O'Fallon, Illinois. Go online today. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Start your summer road trip at Midas and get up to $30 off your next repair service. Plus, get a free closer look vehicle check to make sure you're road trip ready. So if you need a brake service, an alignment check, or tune-up, hit up Midas for up to $30 off. For more details, request your appointment at Midas.com.
We're here to help you get registered to vote, whether you're in Missouri or Illinois. Democracy 2024 on 97.1 FM Talk. If you need help getting registered, go to 971talk.com/vote.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Biden is just so bad. He is the worst president in the history of our country.
You should make a diss track on him.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Do you think that you're starting to soften your views on some of the networks that you may have not gotten along with in the past?
No, they're fake news.
He had a street fight this past week.
And how did it work out?
How you think, Mr. President?
I think he probably did pretty good. I've watched enough of you fighting.
Unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
It's very possible. Really powerful stuff. AI. They made a commercial, me promoting a product, and it wasn't me. And I said, did I make that commercial?
Rat beefs. Big rat beef just happened. Drake or Kendrick?
So let's get to Tyrus.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Tyrus, Logan Paul, Donald Trump, wrestling, kind of in your world, cool people talking about politics. Tyrus, I had to know what you thought about all of this.
Hey, Howard.
You doing all right? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little glitch.
That's fine.
I thought you said, Logan Paul talking politics. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, you know, he's of the wrestling world. You're of the wrestling world. It's totally an option that Donald Trump feels like he's taking to speak to a different audience. Is it a smart move? Is it gonna pay off? What do you think?
Well, President Trump is a professional wrestler. He wrestled at WrestleMania. He hosted in Atlantic City, WrestleMania 4 and 5, I believe. So he has a long history of wrestling, and he was participating in wrestling back when, like, Muhammad Ali and on big-time celebrities did as well. So it's not surprising. I think the president is we're just seeing a different, more humbled version of President Trump, I think. I think he's spent so much time battling with the elites and the the swamp, so to speak, that he has had a lot of time, especially with him touring. He's been touring all over the country for over 5 years now, maybe. He's been campaigning. I mean, and so I think he's gotten a real grassroots, boots on the ground feel for America's wants and needs right now, and I think he's taking advantage, talking about things that typically Republican presidents normally don't talk about, like, hey, let's make sure that waitresses keep their tips.
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing he's listening to the people, and that him changing up his approach to things, I think, has made him more independent, that are not progressive weirdos are like, you know what, this might be a better option, because he's actually talking about real things that matter to people, not fake things like the end of democracy, which I was just like one time when they say if President Trump gets in, he'll end democracy. My follow-up question is, how so?
How? Yeah, explain it to me.
Yeah, I'd just love to hear it.
I agree with that.
I want to know. I mean, if you can explain it, but it's always the same thing. How? Well, no chance to ask a follow-up question.
Well, they always say that he's not going to leave office, that if he becomes president, that he's not going to leave office. Yeah. But even Bill Maher said that he didn't do it last time.
Sorry, who's the dummy right now? Because that's not President Trump.
Yeah. In converse, if you've got Donald Trump sitting down and talking with Logan Paul on Logan Paul's podcast, I am not a listener of Logan Paul, not because I got a problem with him. It's just I don't think as a 40-year-old mama for his demo. Maybe I am. But
yeah, I don't listen to him.
Yeah, that conversation, Trump is going to be able to hang in that conversation. Logan Paul's extended the invitation to Joe Biden. I always kind of think that if Joe Biden were to take these things, if it's even possible, it might make him look even older.
No, he can't. He can't take these things. You just saw him at Juneteenth, where his hands were frozen, his body was frozen, the lights and what was going on. He wasn't. He's just. It's not even funny, or it's sad that someone would let your. I mean, whoever's running the country. That's the real question we should be asking. Who is pushing this agenda? It's clearly not Biden. And I feel like they're misleading the American people. He is unfit to serve.
Yeah.
And people, to try to win an election, which, again, is election tampering because they're trying to sell us a bill of goods on a president who cannot do the job. There's no way he's having conversations with world leaders. The interpreters are. And, again, where is this stuff coming from? Because he'll get souped up on some Adderall for one, or whatever it is, or a Red Bull, or whatever his pre-workout is for one speech, and then when it wears off, it wears off. Or if he goes off of the rehearsed script, I cannot wait to see how manufactured this debate is going to be.
If they soup him up a whole lot,
really manufactured. I still don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's going to be I think he's going to pull out. I think there will be some reason, but just based off of what we've seen, he can't answer a follow-up question. He can't leave the stage without someone holding his hand and telling him, we got to go now. Like, just even the thing in France with Mark, if he was in good space and had his wits about him and wasn't going through, because Father Time loses to no one.
Right.
Okay. If that wasn't happening, he would have shook hands with veterans. He would have talked to them. Joe he always likes to shake hands and kiss babies and smell hair. We know that. So to him to be ushered off right away was to prevent him from making any kind of mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when he goes off script, the train gets way off the tracks if he is not on note card or
going all over the place, and you have no idea what he's saying, and he doesn't know where he is, and he doesn't know he's president or VP. It's staggering that more people are not just forget the bashing him, forget the other thing. Whether you like it or not, he's our president of the United States, and he's clearly health is failing him. And we're being the people who are pushing these agendas and this stuff underneath him. I don't see how this is not some form of treason, because they are misleading the American. They're running when they know that the president is hampered. I mean, he's literally. It just feels wrong whenever he speaks.
Do you think the Democrats ride his candidacy all the way to November?
Yeah, because all they care about, their whole campaign is no Trump. So it doesn't really matter who's in there, does it? Because what are they running on?
Not being Trump.
We have to save democracy from Trump. If you vote for Trump, the world's going to end. Earth's climate's going to heat up 97 degrees if Trump's elected. So between the green effect and no democracy, what else are they running on? Nothing. Like, hey, what's Joe Biden's campaign promise? Oh, that we'll lose democracy if you don't vote for him.
Yeah.
What else you got?
You can't talk to somebody who's supporting the anti-Trump narrative, which is pro whatever isn't Trump, without hearing the phrase convicted felon now. They invested a lot in getting that, a lot. They compromised a lot to get to that convicted felon moniker. Is that going to be a problem for Donald Trump going into November, the convicted felon label he now bears?
I honestly don't think so. I think he's going to wear it like a badge of honor. I think it's going to be it's a funny thing that the next president of the United States can't vote.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he can vote in Florida. I think DeSantis came out and said that. But they're looking into I think in New Jersey they're looking into his organizations and the ability for him to hold a liquor license. They're looking into his ability to own firearms and so on and so forth.
They're going to do every petty thing they can in the blue states and all they're really doing is making everyday people going, what is going on? And I don't want a part of this. Beat them on merit, beat them on your policies, try to have this is what our plan is. Then the Republicans will represent their plan, and the American people vote accordingly. That's what it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. All these arguments about he's a convicted felon, he has the nomination. And the fact that they won't wait till after is hilarious to me. This debate where, this should be started off right after the DNC, after the RNC, but for some reason they got to get it in now. So should be another red flag to the American people. But
Tyrus, when I think about the president and his campaign, President Trump, and you said something earlier, kind of spawned me into a few extra thoughts. You said that we're seeing a more humbled version of Donald Trump, and comparatively, for a while, especially leading into 2020's election, and then of course afterwards, it felt like Donald Trump had a lot of anger. A lot of people can understand exactly why he was angry, but he doesn't seem as angry anymore as he seems resolved. And I'm wondering if that's what you see and why you feel like he decided to make that transition.
I think he had no choice. I think when you're getting it takes a toll. I don't care who you are. When you have half of the nation saying horrible things about you, and you're a dictator, and you're all these things, and going after your family, and inventing laws to arrest you. I think he took a hard look in the mirror and had to make a decision on why he was still running. Because if he would have dropped out and moved on, because you can't say he's achieved the goal. He's been president. He was a successful president. He survived a polite coup during his office, where they, no matter what he did, they spent their time trying to get him out of office, peddling misinformation and false narratives and all this kind of stuff. And I think that changes you for the better or for the worse. And I think for a guy who was always known to being arrogant, and even in a fun way or a complimentary way, I just feel it changed the way he speaks. It's no longer about the fight back. Is like, listen, we have to. He's on. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to stick. Here's my plans. Here's my promises. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm listening to the people, and I think that's what's making the polls look the way they look. You have one guy who's auditioning for the job, and you have another guy who is trying to convince you that he has to be the job. And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, well, I've got to update you on the Cardinals are 32-34, and you guys just are sticking. Every time we talk, you guys are 500, 34-34. The Boston Red Sox are maintaining the absolute mid of records.
Yeah, maintaining mediocrity. Couldn't be prouder of them. Way to go. Way to give 110%.
It's better than us right now.
Hey, listen, I'm more focused on my Celtics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have a huge bet with Will Cain.
Okay.
On the Will Cain show, and I called into his show last week, first-time caller, Tyrus here, when I was up 2-0, and he said that, we're coming back to Dallas. And then I had my kids prank call his show, letting him know the Celtics were coming from him. And then last night, I made the joke. I said that Luka wasn't in shape for fourth quarters. He's only good through 3. And not only is he not in shape for fourth quarters, he has a horrible attitude when things don't go his way.
He's the only one in the NBA that I've noticed.
Yeah. And this dude, get it. He needs a pacifier and a diaper stat. But if Will Cain loses, he has to wear a I Love Tyrus shirt, which you get on my tours, to work all weekend. I don't care. You can wear a little suit. I have a nice pink shirt that says I Love Tyrus that Will Cain's going to be wearing. It will be snug but respectful. My daughter said halter top. I'm not doing that to him. But my daughter's like, Dad, halter top. And I was like, yeah.
Is this Georgie? Because we know she goes hard.
Yeah. You know exactly who it is. Yeah, as you know on the show, yeah.
Yeah. It looks like that Boston's up 3-0. You might have heard of Jason Tatum. He's one of ours. We've lent him to you because we don't have an NBA team, but he seems to be doing okay himself.
Yeah, they're doing just fine. They're about to sweep.
All right. Well, good on the Celtics for you, and Red Sox, way to keep it right there, average. And
this hat bet's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, we are excelling or aspiring to be 2 more games in the win column for us, and then we will be measuring right there with you guys at 500.
You're two back. You're 2 back with 100 to go.
Yeah, something like that. 90, 96.
And we ain't played the Yankees yet, so you're gonna pick up a couple this week.
All right. I don't know. Yeah. I've got my faith. We'll see how it goes. It's always good to talk to you, Tyrus. Thanks for being with us.
We're going to get murdered.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Have some faith.
Judge is going to be arrested for ball abuse in Fenway.
I'll be watching. Tyrus, thanks. Good to talk to you. Take care. Bye-bye. I got him. Regular on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, host of Maintaining with Tyrus on Outkick, and Tyrus Here and Now, which is a stand-up special you can get on Fox Nation. His book is Nuff Said. Go check it out. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to try to connect with Congresswoman Mary Miller. She represents Illinois' 15th district. And I'm going to ask her, did you get to talk with Donald Trump today? Did you get to be in that meeting? What took place? Tell us what you can. And is the Republican Party together? Congressman Mary Miller, when we come back.
Take a sip now. Take it down now.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Anytime you can save a penny, you're going to look to do that. You can save a lot of pennies by shopping at Ruler Foods. I encourage you to give Ruler Foods an opportunity to earn your business. Find the one closest to you by visiting rulerfoods.com. Easy to put your zip code in and see all of the different options for Ruler Foods in the bi-state region. Saving money is made simple when you shop at Ruler Foods, and they're very excited to be adding delivery to the services that they offer, so you can have those savings delivered directly to your door. Save on delicious fresh produce right now. Red ripe seedless watermelons, $3.99 each. Peaches and nectarines, just 99 cents a pound. If you're looking to do something fun this weekend for Father's Day, out on the grill or in the smoker, Boston butt pork roast, spare ribs, or boneless pork half loin, $1.49 a pound. Save on these delicious foods at Ruler Foods. Buy the brands that you love, and also check out the Kroger brands that we can celebrate at Ruler Foods prices. Schedule your delivery or find the Ruler Foods closest to you today by going to rulerfoods.com.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, America's settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boone's Lick Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now, founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boone's Lick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors, specifically my friend Tim Nesbitt, who is the owner. He is from the customer service business, 20 years in the restaurant business, so the answer is yes. What's the question? Anything you need. Hospitality, personal service, we're upscale. We're a James Hardy company. Roofing and siding and gutters and great value. Tim just texted me and he beat the next closest bid by $15,000 just this week. You can call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Thursday afternoon, more crazy and troubling details about a 3-year-old boy stabbed to death in Cleveland. Plus, it's the 2-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
President Trump has set fundraising records. He raised $53 million in the first 24 hours after the verdict in that terrible, bogus trial in Manhattan. And I think that shows that people understand what's happening here. We also set fundraising records, and we've continued to. He's announced he's raised over $400 million since the verdict came down, and there's much more to come. And you know why? Because people see that that is a threat to our republic. They see that that's a threat to our system of justice, and they want to push back. And so in many ways, President Trump has become a symbol of that, pushing back against corruption, the deep state, the weaponization of the judicial system, and that's a very encouraging development. So I think that he made the point every time they indicted him, his polls went up. That's right, because people see exactly what's happening here, and we have to fix it, and we will.
Well, that's the voice of Speaker Johnson on Donald Trump, who enjoyed visiting with Congress, both houses of Congress today, and gave us a little press conference, 45 minutes ago or so. We carried some of that here on our show. And the question is, can Donald Trump unify the Republicans in the House and the Senate and ultimately in the country to make sure that Republicans are able to win in November? We are excited for our next guest coming on the show with us, Congresswoman Mary Miller of Illinois' 15th District, to talk to us about Donald Trump, but also to talk about some work that she's doing, legislation to reverse Biden's Title IX rule, which violates women and girls' private spaces. But let's get to the Trump story first. Congresswoman Mary Miller, thanks for being with us today.
Well, you're welcome. It was a great way to start the day, meeting with President Trump. He spoke for an hour. He's so strong. He's undeterred by the lawfare. And he's razzed up to set America back on the America First agenda. And we are united behind him. We're excited to have a strong leader. And we're going to really get a lot done when we take not only the presidency, but the House and the Senate.
Yeah, it's got to be a big win. It's got to be a huge win in November so that we can get this country back to where it needs to be. And reports were coming out of the meeting that Donald Trump had with the House. And, I'm thinking about this broad party. And the Republicans, we have a broad base of supporters. There are people in the Republican tent who don't agree on everything. That used to be, in my opinion, the way the left was. But now the left, they'll tell you exactly what you have to think and say and all of that. The Republicans have a little bit of elbow room in there. And you got the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Johnson in the same room. And Donald Trump walks in and starts making jokes and kind of, in my opinion, it seems like saying, okay, we've got our differences, but we have to have one common goal. Do you feel like that's the feeling of the people in the room when Donald Trump was present? Because he himself can be a controversial figure from time to time.
Well, he's controversial when he goes against people that are not on board to put America first and to make America great again. And so our goal is to beat Biden. That is the most important thing. And, we're united around the main issues, which are securing the border, dealing with inflation, and promoting peace through strength around the world.
Yeah, it's an important thing to have narrowed down the clear focus so that in November we can see a win. Congresswoman Mary Miller with us right now, Illinois' 15th District Representative. You have been a big part of this introduction of legislation to push back against President Joe Biden's Title IX rule. Tell us what Joe Biden did and what you're trying to do to change it.
Well, so in 1972, Congress enacted Title IX. The goal was to increase opportunities for women and girls with scholarships, education, and athletics. And then Joe Biden introduces this ridiculous rule, which is unlawful, and it's a radical reinterpretation of Title IX. And it says that sex in Title IX is gender identity, not biological sex. And so my bill is to reverse his rule. And, it's going to pass. The American people are not on board with Joe Biden's radical reinterpretation of Title IX, and they're tired of the men taking the athletic opportunities away from the girls, and horrified that they're forcing schools to let boys and men in the girls' showers and locker rooms, or they're going to have their federal funding withdrawn.
Congresswoman Mary Miller with us right now. I grew up born in the 80s, and I kind of grew up thinking that the feminists were the people on the left side of the aisle. But how anti-feminist is it right now to take away this kind of protection from our girls and our women? So much so that it feels like the new feminist out there is one that's just even willing to acknowledge the existence of women in and of themselves, and then, of course, acknowledge the fact that they should be afforded certain protections. How do you feel about the aggressive, progressive left and their influence they've had on the Democrat Party? And do you feel like the Republican Party has shifted at all on this issue?
I think we're strengthening around the reality that you cannot change your gender. It's either XX or XY. This is not only an attack on girls and women, it's an attack on parental rights, it's an attack on freedom of conscience and freedom of speech, but it's an attack on biology.
Yeah.
It goes against decades of fighting for opportunities for women in our society.
Yeah, we've seen the left really push back, try to control words and vocabulary and cancel people who spoke up and against the things that when they try to take an understood norm and they try to disallow people to discuss it or do what you're doing pretty boldly, Congresswoman Miller, to say, no, that's not just wrong, but it's absurd and ridiculous. I feel as though the free speech is kind of coming back into the forefront, too, and people are kind of getting sick and tired of being told, if you disagree, just keep your mouth shut.
Right. Well, whether it's, trying to get us to deny reality about the border. They try to tell us the border security or the border secure, inflation's under control, and trans or men can pretend to be women and then enter our girls' athletics and showers. This is ridiculous, and they're on the wrong side of the American people, and we're going to hold them accountable in the next election.
Last question. We've got Congresswoman Mary Miller on with us. You spent the day with Trump. You're a longtime supporter of Donald Trump. Is Donald Trump going to win in November?
Absolutely. And I think this morning he just showed just the strength and the enthusiasm to fight for our country. He is an amazing human being, and he inspires me and so many others.
Well, we'll see how that shapes up, and a strong Republican legislature behind him would be very, very important for the future of this country to get back to that America First mentality. Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Take care, Annie.
Yep, you as well. Congresswoman Mary Miller. She represents the 15th District in Illinois. On X at Rep. Mary Miller or marymiller.house.gov. If you want to connect with her. Let's take a quick break. Maureen Fry Show right around the corner. Haven't even mentioned the poll question yet. What kind of mobile phone do you use? Now, there's some talk out there right now about AI implementation into iPhones and Apple using that integration, and people are going, whoa. A little concerned about that. Curious out there, you listening right now, what do you use? Are you Apple? Are you Android? Are you something else? Or you don't even have a mobile phone, which I don't believe that there's going to be any of you. But there's always one person who wants to vote for that. Let us know what you think and leave your comments if you so choose on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Change, I can change, but I'm here in my mode. I am here in my mode, but I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my mode. No.
Let's talk about how Air Comfort Service gets you in your comfort zone in a little more of a comfortable way. Double carrier cool cash rebates are available to you right now. You can save up to $4,200 with double carrier cool cash rebates on a qualifying system. In addition to that, they can make it so that you could qualify for 0% financing up to 72 months. If your HVA system isn't in good working order, you're probably trying to push it a little bit here lately as temperatures have risen into the 90s. Make sure that you have it well maintained. They can help you with that too. If they have determined due to a tune-up or something that, this is probably going to need to be replaced. That's what happened to us. They told us they could fix it, but it was going to cost about 3/4 of what it was going to cost to replace it. And we said, just go for the whole replacement. If that's your situation and the cost is needing to be spread out a little bit, that 0% financing for up to 72 months can really help do the trick. You also might be eligible for utility rebates and tax credits as well. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Let them know that Annie sent you. AirComfortService.com.
Outdoor Living Redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck, or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
Hello, Mike Carter here. I wonder if you knew that after the purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1804, a formal three-flag ceremony was held in St. Louis to mark the transfer. The Spanish flag lowered and the French tricolor raised. That in turn was lowered the next day, and the flag of the young republic of the United States stood tall. I'm Mike Carter of Carter Law Offices here, and at that moment, the people living here went from being subjects to being citizens of a great free nation. Jump ahead 220 years to what we have become, and over 6 million men, women, and children now call Missouri home. Our largest cities are an economic powerhouse, and our small towns and family farms remain the heart of the nation. A friend wrote me one time at Carter Law Offices, "Hey, Mike Carter, why don't Missouri residents show their pride by flying our state flag more often like the folks in Texas?" I was like, that's a really great idea. And I was thinking, maybe anybody who's listening to this, if you want to send me an email at mike@carterlegal.com with your name and address if you're okay doing so, and I'll send you a free state flag, and you can hang it out on your front porch and show everybody you're as proud of Missouri as I am.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
What kind of mobile phone do you use? I can't say that we're trying to start a fight, although I imagine that we will fight. This is the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. What kind of mobile phone do you use? Is it Apple, Android, something else, or none? Especially want to hear if it's none. Let us know in the comments. 142 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's what's happening
To do what I can on my own to address the border.
right now,
What he signed means nothing.
keeping you informed.
Agents are directed to release migrants from all countries in the Eastern Hemisphere except for 6 countries.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So Donald Trump goes and meets with the congressional representatives, senators, and seems as though, didn't they just say Mitt Romney ended up showing up? He wasn't going to, but then he ended up going.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And I'm pretty sure that was the report that just came out during the show. And so they have this like kumbaya moment, which I think is important. I know that from the outside looking in, okay, yeah, whatever. They're all Republicans. They all care about the same thing. That's really not the case, especially this Republican Party. We've seen in the House, they can't get along in the House. They have a super slim majority in the House. That vote to hold Merrick Garland in contempt was 208 to 207. super close. And if Donald Trump wants to be effective as the president, should he win, he's going to need a resounding victory in the House of Representatives, and they're going to need to flip the Senate. And it's totally doable. Donald Trump has to win first, and of course that win has to fill up down ticket. Here is Jake Paul, and I'm pretty sure, is this from the interview that he did with Jesse Waters last night? It is. Okay. So Jake Paul was on with Jesse Waters. That's Logan Paul's brother.
To me, it doesn't have to do with Democrat or Republican. It's about which president is going to fight for us and who's going to represent us the best way possible. And that's really what the young people in America want. We want solutions. We don't want all this marketing. We don't want all the BS put in front of us. This is the smartest generation. We've had the most access to information and knowledge out of any other generation. So you can't fool us. So we just want the truth and we want authenticity.
So this is Jake Paul. These are not politically minded figures. Jake and Logan Paul, they're kind of famous for being doofuses on the internet. I mean, I don't know how, I'm trying to say that with a modicum of respect because they're very successful doofuses. And if social media and the influencer world isn't about monetizing your doofusness, then what is it?
You have put me on the spot in a way that I do not know how to answer because I think that you have asked the perfect question.
Have you've been waiting to say that, haven't you? About anything. You pulled that answer out of a hat. I mean, you don't watch YouTube, do you?
No. I mean,
no, I'm talking about turn on YouTube to watch something on YouTube. You will watch a YouTube video that someone sends you.
Yes, but I don't get on YouTube to partake in whatever they're putting on.
I've talked about, we watch a lot of travel stuff on YouTube and a lot of influencers who are involved in places that we like to travel to. We like to watch, people we like to watch baseball travel stuff. We like to watch Florida travel stuff, Hawaii travel stuff, because we're looking to go to Hawaii next year to celebrate my parents' 50th anniversary. And so it's really, I mean, I'm so kind of surprised you haven't, because once you crack open the world of YouTube for content that's, I mean, it's not broad. It's super specific. So that thing that you're super specific about being interested in, there are YouTube channels out there that specialize in scratching that itch. And if there aren't, you're either the weirdest weirdo or you've got a great YouTube channel that you're about to start.
No, there's a third category. A third category. Mm-hmm. I already know everything about the Twilight Zone. So there's nothing else for them to tell me.
Yeah, but don't you want to nerd out with other people who like the Twilight Zone?
You know what? I kind of do. Yes. I kind of do. And I joined two different Facebook groups.
You are a nerd.
And neither one of them are scratching that itch for me.
Well, it's because you need to go on YouTube.
They get on there.
I challenge you in the next, by next Monday, anytime you have 10 minutes free, you get on YouTube and search Twilight Zone fan whatever.
Okay.
Or what, I don't even know the correct, because I'm not in that club. They won't let me in.
Yeah. We really hate when people talk about Twilight, the movie series.
Yeah.
We hate that.
Vampires.
Yeah.
Never seen any of those either. That's there. I guarantee you there are things there, and there are going to be people there who are talking about stuff that maybe you already know it, but it's fun to watch another person talk about it and present it, or maybe you'll learn stuff that you didn't know. My mom is a master gardener and a master naturalist, and she watches all of these people who do homesteading and greenhouse gardening and all this stuff, and it's, sorry, Mom, the most boring thing to watch ever for me. But it is she could watch it all day because she's sitting there watching somebody do something she loves to do, learning from them. And it's just it's a super narrow lane, but she's in that lane and they're in that lane. That is one corner of YouTube. And then there's the Logan Paul. I mean, it's basically, can I say, do you remember that? Hey, can you say that? You can
just
say that,
Jack Butt.
Jack Butt? I think I can. But I mean, that was a huge deal. Was it MTV?
Oh, you're talking, the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show, Jack Butt, was enormously
There's somebody
successful.
sitting in Washington, D.C. with a button just waiting.
Speaking of jackass.
Waiting.
Should we
you said
wait for Biden later or just talk about the show that we were talking about now? Let's do it at 2.
Let's do it at 2.
Let's cue it up at 2.
Okay.
The people will wait or change the channel. But I mean, that before it was an influencer thing, reality TV was already doing that on television. People just don't watch that on television anymore because you can see it on YouTube. Who's Mr. Beast? Have you ever seen a Mr. Beast video?
Yeah, he does very solid.
It's good content.
Yeah, it's high level stuff.
I think Donald Trump needs to be all over it. If Joe Biden, I mean, I almost want to cue it up right now to hear what he's saying right now, just to insert it into this conversation. Just we'll probably air more of it in the 2:00 hour.
It's just that it's live.
Yeah, just let's listen and see how young he sounds and coherent.
And supporting Ukraine's economic recovery, as well as its energy recovery, after Russia has repeatedly targeted Ukraine's energy grid with massive attacks in the futile attempt to break the will of the Ukrainian people. All these lines of efforts and others are laid out in this agreement. Additionally, the G7 achieved a significant outcome this week on the matter of Russia's frozen assets in Europe and other places outside of Russia. Back in 2022, 2 days after Russia's invasion, members of the G7 and the European Union worked together to freeze $280 billion in Russian central bank funds outside of Russia. I'm very pleased to share that this week, the G7 signed a plan to finalize and unlock $50 billion from the proceeds of those frozen assets, to put that money to work for Ukraine. Another reminder to Putin, we're not backing down. In fact, we're standing together against this illegal aggression. The agreement that President Zelensky and I just signed also lays out our shared vision for a just peace, a peace rooted in the UN Charter and the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity, a peace with a broad base of support around the world that holds Russia accountable for the damage it has done in this war. We will see this vision strongly affirmed at the historic peace conference happening in Switzerland this weekend, where Vice President Harris will represent the United States. Finally, this agreement accelerates Ukraine's integration into the European and transatlantic communities. It includes major commitments from Ukraine to implement democratic, economic, and security reforms in line with the European Union's accession goals and NATO's programs of reform. While we take this step, the United States is also intensifying pressure on Russia. Yesterday, the U.S. Treasury Department made clear any bank anywhere in the world that deals with sanctioned Russian banks, companies, or individuals risk being sanctioned themselves. And we announced roughly 300 new sanctions on individuals and companies that are helping Russia with war effort. They include key parts of Russia's financial sector. I'll wait till it goes over.
Who scheduled that?
Yeah, whoops.
As well as
You'd think it'd be a no-fly zone.
Supply Russia with items critical to its defense production, like microelectronics, machine tools, and industrial materials.
They're in Italy too, by the way.
We also sanction more Russian future energy projects, that Russia's natural gas oil projects that are under construction and are not yet fully operating. Putin is counting on revenues from these projects. Our sanctions will disrupt those plans. Plus, at the G7, we discussed our shared concern about countries like China, who are supplying Russia with materials they need for their war machine. And we agreed to taking collective action to push back against that activity. Let me close with this. We've taken 3 major steps at the G7 that collectively show Putin you cannot wait us out. You cannot divide us. And we'll be with Ukraine until they prevail in this war. First is the bilateral security agreement just signed. Second, historic agreement to provide $50 billion in value from Russian sovereign assets to Ukraine. And third, an agreement to ensure our sanctions efforts disrupt third countries that are supplying Russia's war efforts. That will increase pressure on the Russian economy. Collectively, this is a powerful set of actions and will create a stronger foundation for Ukraine's success. 2.5 years ago, Putin unleashed a brutal war in Ukraine, and it's been a horrifying ordeal for the Ukrainian people who are so brave and incredible. It's also been a test for the world. Would we stand with Ukraine? Would we stand for sovereignty, freedom, and against tyranny? The United States, the G7, and countries around the world have consistently answered the question by saying, yes, we will. We will say it again. Yes, again and again and again. We're going to stand with Ukraine. And thank you, and I now yield to my friend from Ukraine, President.
Thank you so much, Mr. President Biden, dear President, dear journalists, dear Ukrainians, dear Americans, and thank you so much. Thanks, Italy and Georgia, for an invitation. Dear friends, today is a truly historic day, and we have signed the strongest agreement between Ukraine and the U.S. since our independence. And this is an agreement on security and thus on the protection of human life. This is an agreement on cooperation and thus on how our nations will become stronger. This is an agreement on steps to guarantee sustainable peace, and therefore it benefits everyone in the world, because the Russian war against Ukraine is a real global threat. I thank you very much, Mr. President, for your leadership, which is reflected in particular in this agreement and in your years of support for Ukraine. I thank our teams, both teams. Thanks very much for making sure that the details of the agreement are really good. And of course, I want to thank every Ukrainian soldier, all our people whose courage made this level of alliance between Ukraine and the United States possible.
So President Zelensky is speaking right now at this bilateral press conference. We're going to watch and just see if they end up taking questions. And if they do, we'll probably bring you back to those questions as well. Zelensky did, I think it's very appropriate, thank Biden for his years of partnership.
Quite a few of them. He's speaking English better than the president.
Yeah, that's factual. They're in Fasano, Italy. And why was there plane flying over Zelensky and Biden in this moment?
You think that'd be the one time you go, you know what, guys, why don't you just stay grounded or avoid this area?
You can't even fly over Disney World while the fireworks are going off. They can get that right. But maybe the two of the most controversial world leaders, yeah, just fly that thing over there. And President Biden said, I'll wait for that to pass by.
Hang on a second.
Ooh, Zelensky and Biden at this bilateral meeting. We'll keep an eye on it. If they take questions, we'll bring you those questions as well. Let us know what kind of phone you use. We're going to talk about that when we come back. Do you use Apple, Android, something else, or no phone at all? Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
Mike Carter here. Too often we lose sight of how fortunate we are to live in Missouri. When I travel out of state on business, people say, Mike Carter, what's so special about Missouri? Well, let's start with the mighty Mississippi and Missouri rivers traversing the state. They were the superhighways of the day, used by French fur trappers and traders. Later, American settlers like Daniel Boone and waves of pioneers drove their teams and wagons along the Boone Trail he blazed. Carter Law Offices, right now, founded by me, Mike Carter, started and is on Boone's Lick Trail, near where those intrepid settlers crossed the Missouri to harness the land. Rich soils and generations of farm families like my own grandparents made Missouri the breadbasket of America. Drive a few minutes outside our cities and towns, and you'll find yourself passing miles and miles of undulating wheat and corn, farms and ranches that feed our nation. I'm Mike Carter, and I'm proud to live and work in the Show Me State, a place God blessed just a little bit more. Go to MikeCarter.com to see more about our great state of Missouri.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 500 and get 15% off your first purchase with code 500, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 500 for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 500 to save 15% today.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe be a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The president overseas again. I'm Tom Graham, Fox News. President Biden huddling with several world leaders, wealthy nations for the G7 summit in Italy. He's praising international cooperation and infrastructure, particularly the first trans-African railway that connects the Indian and Atlantic Ocean.
We're already seeing goods that normally take up to 45 days of transport now taking only 40 hours. And think of the how transformative this is.
Now, the U.S. and Ukraine also signing a security pact today. In Washington, Donald Trump back on Capitol Hill, meeting with House Republicans first, then Senate members.
We want to see just success for our country, and we don't have success right now.
The president focusing on international affairs and the country's image, among other topics.
One source said, quote, there were a lot of tangents in this meeting. A Republican member said they also lost interest after 45 minutes. It's risky for some Republicans to associate themselves too closely with former President Trump, especially if they represent a swing district. Now, Don Bacon is one Republican like that.
20% inflation over the last 3.5 years, a border with criminals coming in. So that was probably a lot of the focus, and I think he talked about tariffs, which I found interesting.
Mr. Trump apparently riffed on President William McKinley and tariffs. The former president said he was a big fan.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Boeing's safety record coming under scrutiny following a door plug that blew out of an Alaskan Airlines flight earlier this year, as well as other incidents. FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker says they've ramped up oversight of the aircraft maker.
We have capped production, and we will not grant any production expansion of the MAX above that level until we're satisfied they can do so safely.
Speaking today before the Senate Commerce Committee, America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Is your timeshare suffocating you? Are you feeling powerless because you were sold a bad investment that is nothing like you were promised? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. If you're ready to get rid of that timeshare, I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free, exposing the timeshare industry scams with all your options for cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about summertime this afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny skies. 95 for the high today with moderate humidity. Tonight, a couple of scattered evening thunderstorms, mainly to our north, but we'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, partly cloudy and 72. Friday, sunny 92. Saturday, sunny 95. And Sunday, sunny and 99. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Summer is right here now. Summer starts June 21st, but let's just say summer started. I have to say, if you have not been proactive and scheduled your checkup to make sure your air conditioner is ready, that's fine, because I'll be honest with you. If I wasn't in the business, I wouldn't either. So if you haven't done it, if you haven't had it checked and it does break down, just save my number in your phone. Not while you're driving, but when you stop, or when you're at that light, or when that really, really slow driver is in front of you in the passing lane, that's the perfect time to save my number. Call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number. The easiest of all numbers for Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it's bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
June 27th, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, no scripts.
Well, make my day, pal.
Oh, absolutely. He's issuing it. I wonder whether or not he shows up.
Only one place you can hear it. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We've been watching as Joe Biden is at a bilateral press conference with President Zelensky. So it's us and Ukraine. They're in Italy. And we said if they went to questions that we would bring those questions to you. And I think we're gonna try to highlight the questions asked to Joe Biden. There is a Zelensky question in the middle of it. There's an interpreter. There's a lot of things. I don't think it's good radio. And also Zelensky is basically saying, Russia attacked us. It's unfair. We need support. We need help. Thank you for the support. In a lot of words.
Whereas we don't know what President Biden will say.
Correct. So let's listen. Let's listen in as they shifted from their prepared remarks to questions.
Now what we'll do is we're going to take two questions from American reporters and a question each from two American reporters and a question each from two Ukrainian reporters. The first person I'm to call on is Colleen Long of the Associated Press.
Thanks, Mr. President. About 2 weeks ago, you changed course to allow Ukraine to fire U.S. weapons into Russia. Given the reported successes, would you consider further expanding the parameters on U.S. weapons into Russia, even despite your concerns about escalation? And on the news from home, you're going through something that so many American families go through, the intersection of addiction and the criminal justice system, but you're not like most families. Was your son able to get a fair trial? Do you believe the Justice Department operated independently of politics? And for President...
Let me answer your question and you ask his question, okay? With regard to the first question, it is clear that the near abroad, meaning just across the line of the border with Russia and Ukraine, that it makes a lot of sense for Ukraine to be able to take out or combat what is coming across that border. In terms of long-range weapons, longer-range weapons into the interior of Russia, we have not changed our position on that sort. With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know, and I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
So there is the answer to the first question, and reporter lady from, what did they say, the AP, I think?
I didn't catch it.
Boy, what a soft landing.
No kidding.
President, you're going through what so many other families back home are going through, the intersection of addiction and whatever else bullcrap she said. There are a lot of people who know somebody or they themselves struggle with addiction. Again, the idea that you have a substance abuse problem and that you are also a criminal, these are circles within circles. There are this many people who have addiction problems, and within that, a smaller portion of those are convicted criminals because of it. Just because you have an addiction doesn't mean that you have been convicted of a crime, correct? And
Correct.
To suggest differently takes away the struggle of addiction and lumps it into like, well, substance abuse, they couldn't help but commit crimes. Like, that's not, you can't lump all those things together. So you soften the blow for the president, and then he stumbles through and I don't know, like if double negatives are in play here, he might have just guaranteed he's going to pardon his son. It's hard to understand when he walks through this, but he said I think the effect of what he was saying is he is satisfied with the jury's ruling and he's not going to pardon his son. That doesn't mean he's not going to commute a sentence or offer him clemency. Those are vocabulary words that matter. And then, I mean, can't you already see him sitting on some soft, cushiony interview on CBS? And he said, I said I would never pardon him because that would absolve him of the crime. And he was convicted rightfully by a jury of a crime. But I am a father, and I do have the ability to lighten his sentence without removing his guilt. I mean, just freaking say that.
I mean, so you're a professional communicator. I dabble.
Ironically, at the same time.
Yeah, when I hear the Associated Press, assuming that's who that was, ask a yes or no question of the president. That's inherently not what you want to do.
It's lame and it's bad journalism unless
that's what you're supposed to do.
You're
because
making it easy.
You were there for that reason. But she asks another question there where she says, do you think the Justice Department acted fairly? What do you think he's going to say? No, they were, of course he's going to say, yes, this is the way it's supposed to play out.
You just put the ball in the tee.
Yeah, it's the easiest questions possible.
Isn't it an important opportunity right now to remind you that reporter in Fasano, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Fasano, Italy, that reporter is there on your behalf, nobody else's. The idea of the First Amendment, including the provision for a free press, is so that you have an entitlement, a protected, right at the top First Amendment entitlement to the truth and the pursuit of the truth. Which means your question to the President of the United States, states should be couched in a way that is so specific that at the end it gets to the broadest understanding of the truth. Not so that it lets somebody off the hook, not so that you get credit for asking the question and now we can quickly move on, which is what this lamestream media always has done for the Democrats in the past and is really, honestly, losing the ability to do because Joe Biden is a disaster. There's only so much you can do. He couldn't even introduce the fact that they were going to take questions without being confusing.
Exactly.
He was talking about reporters, American reporters and Ukraine reporters, and he was saying supporters. And I'm like, well, we're all Ukraine supporters here. All of us. He's a mess. And the question is, a question that I would ask Joe Biden is, there have been a lot of high-profile legal cases that intersect with politics in the United States, and your son has been one of them. What do you have to say about the fairness of the American justice system?
Yeah, exactly. That's a real question.
Does he talk about Trump? Does he talk about Hunter? Does he say that Hunter got what he deserved? He said in his, who's coaching him, if that even matters anyway? He said, no, I will not pardon my son. He wasn't asked the question if he would. The reporter didn't even go that far.
You're right.
He offered that up, and he shouldn't have. A smart politician wouldn't have, but we're talking about Joe Biden. Do you have the next question queued up here? All right, let's listen into the next one to Joe Biden.
So today, during the G7 meeting, the discussion focused on developing Ukraine's air defense system based on the most advanced Western complexes and also on enhancing long-range capabilities. So my question is, can you provide any details on the initiative and about the readiness of our allies to take part in it? Thank you.
I'd be happy to respond to that. We have acquired commitment from 5 countries so far for Patriot batteries and other air defense systems, as well as we've let it be known to those countries that are expecting from us air defense systems in the future that they're going to have to wait. Everything we have is going to go to Ukraine until their needs are met, and then we'll make good on the commitments we made to other countries.
I think President Biden already answered you.
All right. I don't think he understood the question. Maybe he did. He's got to have it written down ahead in front of him.
Yeah, he's saying stuff. Can you imagine? I know a little bit different topic here, but can you imagine this guy? This is going to happen. He is going to sit at a table with his arch nemesis in the world for an hour and a half. How is he going to get through that?
Are you talking about Trump?
Yes, I am.
I just wanted to be specific.
Yes.
Sometimes it's gravity.
That nemesis will also be there.
Yeah.
She's be fighting on two fronts.
Would it be funny if he came in like an anti-gravity suit?
Just with a jetpack would be fine. Biden's ready. Trump got a jetpack? I don't think so.
He's walking out arm in arm with Zelensky. And I don't know if he's like, I'll give you millions of dollars if you help me get out of here. Billions.
Zelensky's like, you got it.
Yeah. So, are there any more questions?
I've got another one queued up.
That was asked to Biden?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because American got to.
Yes.
I was joking off the air with Ryan after that woman asked the question. She had a heavy, thick Ukrainian accent. He should have been like, I said I wasn't going to pardon Hunter Biden.
That's probably what he'll do now.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. Let's listen up to the last one.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for President Zelensky shortly on the announcements, but if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you about your discussions on the situation in Gaza here at the summit. You were asked just a short time ago about it after the skydiving demonstration. Can you give us your assessment of Hamas's response? And do you believe that they are trying to work towards a deal, or is this response working against a deal? And what is your message to allies, including those here at the G7, about what more, if anything, the U.S. can do to drive towards a peace agreement? Thank you.
I wish you guys would play by the rules a little bit. I'm here to talk about a critical situation in Ukraine. You asked me another subject. I'll be happy to answer it in detail later. But the bottom line is that we've made an agreement. I've laid out an approach that has been endorsed by the UN Security Council, by the G7, by the Israelis, and the biggest hang-up so far is Hamas refusing to sign on, even though they have submitted something similar. Whether now it comes to fruition remains to be seen. We're going to continue to push. I don't have a final answer for you.
Chris comments on YouTube. In other words, you asked a question not on my list.
Exactly.
I wish you guys would play by the rules.
I wish you'd play by the rules here, guys.
Get off my lawn.
Wow. Well, at least we know that there was one real reporter there. The rest of them were just cardboard cutouts.
You know, I was just thinking about our conversation that we had with Tyrus at the beginning of the 1 o'clock hour. And, you know, Tyrus doesn't think the debate is going to go on. He is in no way, shape, or form the only one who does not think that the debate is going to take place. And so I think about what is going to happen should that debate actually come to be, and what they're going to have to give Joe Biden to perform. Do you guys remember sped up Joe Biden at the State of the Union?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was peak Biden.
It was jaw-dropping. Like, from the very beginning, if you were watching in your living room, you literally leaned back away from the TV. It felt like it was coming after you. The more of this Joe Biden that we're seeing right now, you can't pump him full of whatever at a debate without drawing a contrast to the slowness of all of the other places that he shows up and speaks and shuffles. Like, he doesn't even bop to the beat at the Juneteenth event. When everybody around him is moving and grooving, he's just slow panning. The funniest one I saw was a meme of that Juneteenth event is when your friends take you to your first Atlanta strip club and it just shows a key in on him because the color's flashing and he just looks like, what is going on here?
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that where he's got his hands kind of frozen? He's just kind of going,
yeah, and Kamala
like
Harris is to the
almost.
right, and everybody else is. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to love nobody but you. I can't remember what the song was, but there are like actions to the song. So some people are doing coordinated actions to the song, and he is in reboot mode.
Yeah, he's kind of frozen with his hands like a robot.
The hand motion is the one that looks like he's about to go in to shake somebody's hand.
Yeah.
He's got his fingers out and straight and his thumb up. But, I mean, it's like if you were going to dance the robot, you would first have to assume the Joe Biden position. And then to not go into robot and to do the Joe Biden, you just stand there, frozen. We can't have that daily version of Joe Biden and the speed version of Joe Biden at the debate and not draw a great attention to the fact that one of these things is not like the other.
Well, what's crazy is that you talk about peaks and troughs, the State of the Union and probably the debate. That's going to be peak Biden. That's going to be the best they could possibly get out of him. These events are not the trough. These events are not the low end of Biden. This is still probably pretty high on the sine wave. So what we're seeing, the slow, like you're saying, the daily kind of slow version of Biden, what is actually happening behind the scenes? Because he's giving a major international speech and he can barely get through it.
Well, that is done. They've walked off stage and the president has reiterated, even though he really didn't have to, that he's not going to pardon Hunter Biden, nor would he have to pardon Hunter Biden to get Hunter Biden off the hook. And like we said earlier, in the week, we'd probably do it for our own kids too. Some version of mercy if you had the ability as the president of the United States. All right, let's talk about it when we come back. What kind of mobile phone do you use? There are some AI infiltration. I've probably been there for a long time on our phones, but it's starting to key up a little bit. Apple, Android, something else, or none? Let us know what you think. We'll talk a little bit about it when we come back. Plus, I've got some etiquette things. How I love etiquette. 9 etiquette lessons every child should learn this year, and I'm wondering, what?
Annie, are you okay?
Next? What was that motion?
Trisha.
Trisha? Saying you're
Trisha's coming in. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I look over. Brian is off the mic, and he's just signaling big belly.
I'm trying to be cool.
Normally,
I'm trying to make good, flawless transition here.
Previously, we referred to the fact that I am a professional communicator, and normally I would take a guess and try to get to the break and then go, what? Not that time. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Can you, in front of the camera right now, just signal to the people at home what's going to happen next?
Okay, here.
Yeah. I think Ryan has an announcement to make when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm just going to take a little bit of Stewie's time here to read Chris's comment that said, Chris's comment that said Trisha is going to beat him after this.
No. She didn't hear any of this yet.
No, she's going to watch it.
That'll be later. That'll be later.
I don't care what the circumstances ever is, but don't ever communicate to somebody that I'm coming by doing that. You know, the one with the belly.
Here comes Annie. She's got one.
Hey, I'm working on it. Leave me alone. You're ridiculous.
I was trying to say you'll be in for the next segment.
I hope that was. I can't wait to go back and look and see if you're signaling. It was like the bat signal for Trisha, only not. If it's not on there, my face towards you in the WTH. Are you doing?
What's gonna happen in a month? How am I gonna tell you that Trisha's coming?
I gotta talk about my friend Stewie. Can I talk about the bagel loan now?
I say now.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the bagel loan, helping your economic situation with your mortgage. When you go to purchase a mortgage, you want to make sure that you have the best possible circumstance. It's probably a 30-year loan. It's probably the biggest loan you're going to have to your name. Make sure that you maximize the opportunity to save yourself the most money. And start with the very beginning, where you pay no closing costs. Stewie is there to help guide you through that process to make sure that you are totally taken care of the entire time and that you don't have to pay those closing costs. He's going to take care of them for you. You want to know the dirty details on how it all goes? It's pretty obvious. It's pretty open, and he will explain it all to you. I twice have done a refi with the bagel loan, and it was an incredibly simple process, and it was a joy to do business with Stewie. When I give you this phone number here in a second to call or text, it goes directly to Stewie. All you got to do is reach out to him at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can call him. You can text him. Tell him Annie sent you. For more information, just Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Our lives aren't like they used to be. They're busier. Early morning Zooms, grabbing coffee to make that in-office meeting, getting to your kid's soccer game on time. Life is different, and so is advertising. To reach any audience, you need your message out there in all media, broadcast to streaming, on screens, and right to the ears of your customers. And that's what we do at Odyssey. Let's build a media campaign that targets the customers you know and want to reach more of, right here in our community. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Hi, I'm Officer John Van Gordon, recruiter with the Springfield Police Department. We are currently looking for driven, qualified, and team-oriented citizens to become the next generation of community-minded servants here in Springfield. Our salaries and benefits are paid from day one. Plus, right now, new recruits are eligible to receive a $5,000 hiring incentive, and experienced officers looking to transfer are eligible for $10,000. To learn more, visit gospd.com. That's gospd.com.
Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
Father's Day is this Sunday, so now's the time to save on the perfect gift at Macy's Father's Day sale. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take 25% off great gift ideas. Or shop Father's Day specials, like 50 to 60% off designer suits, blazers, and pants, and 40% off belts, wallets, and travel accessories. Plus find watches from Citizen, Bulova, Seiko, and more. Give love today at Macy's Father's Day sale. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Score free gifts for the greatest dad this Father's Day at Lowe's. Get a free 8-piece Blackstone accessory kit and soft cover with purchase of a 28-inch flat-top grill. $50 off, now just $248. And get a free Select DeWalt, Craftsman, or Cobalt tool with your purchase of a Select battery kit. Lowe's knows dads. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/16 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
I had a dream, we were sipping whiskey neat, highest floor of the Bowery, and I was high enough. Somewhere along the lines, we stopped seeing eye to eye. You were staying out all night, and I had enough. No, I don't wanna know where you've been or where you're going, but I know I won't be home, and you'll be on your own.
Welcome back. Anything you want to say to Trisha before I say the YouTube poll?
How are you, my friend?
No, how about an apology?
Apology for what? Do you feel offended?
She's not easily offended.
See?
I'm not offended.
Thank you.
Easily.
Compliment her
In
hair.
this case.
However.
Okay. Well, if you were offended, then I'm terribly sorry. And I'm just going to stop there because anything I'm going to say, I have a few things I want them to say, but I know that they're not going to land well.
Everything that you
they're
just
gonna
said
land
there.
like Carrie Strug.
Everything that you just said there, you shouldn't have said. You said, and I'm not going to say anything more, and then you said things you shouldn't have said.
No, what did I say there that I shouldn't have said?
You said that you wanted to say things that weren't going to be nice.
No, they're not nice. They're just going to come off wrong.
Well, which means you shouldn't have said that you were going to say things that were going to come off wrong.
No, let's hear those things.
Ryan?
No. I'm not going to be baited into this by you two nice ladies who are sitting, who are sitting to my left and my right. I think that you guys are great coworkers, and I hope Odyssey HR is listening to the relationship that we have going into this segment and the relationship that we have even now as friends.
Give her a compliment. Like, give her a genuine compliment to cover the multitude of sins.
Trisha,
the multitude of sins.
You are maybe the most.
Maybe not.
You see right through the garbage into the heart of people. And I appreciate that. It's one of the best things whenever, like, your boss talks to me about you and is like, "What, do an assessment of Trisha." That's
right,
the kind of
which
stuff
happens
I say.
often.
Those conversations. Everyone's always like, "I don't know. We got to ask Ryan what he thinks."
Yeah, it's a
the
weird
boss's
thing.
boss comes down, Ryan.
Like the head of the company sometimes will show up and he comes in like on his jet, and he comes in, meets with people, has lunch, but then he comes by my office. And he's like, "Ryan, was that okay?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what you did today." It's always a weird conversation. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the respect that they show me. The respect that I do not get on the air.
You should play the sound.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's Speaking of big bellies, python swallows woman whole in Indonesia.
Oh, no.
I know. This is a terrible story. A missing woman was found eaten alive by a massive python after locals cut her body out of a snake.
How do you find yourself around that python? Or more importantly, how do you not find yourself around
I
that
don't know
python?
where it went wrong, but she went missing. Her husband's beating himself up for not being with her when she went missing. He found her belongings near a snake with a large human-shaped belly.
Oh.
When they cut her out, she was fully clothed. Obviously, it didn't end well for the snake either.
That would
Annie,
have
are
been
you
embarrassing
okay?
to get eaten naked. Did the snake look like this?
It looked it looked kind of like me, like a little human.
So big belly.
Or a whole different kind of crime if the snake would have slowly addressed her first.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? If I see a snake
with its hands,
if I ever see a snake going by and the middle of it is like as big as a human, I'm like, somebody should cut that thing open.
Yeah.
Because I think that might have eaten a person.
What was the question?
Are you okay with snakes?
No, I'm not okay with them. I don't want to be around them. I don't have the same snake response that I have for spiders, though.
Mine's the opposite.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think for a lot of people, it's one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
What's worse, snakes or spiders, Ryan?
Snakes. If I put myself in a situation where I wake up in the middle of the night and I go to the bathroom, I see a spider, I'm afraid. If I see a snake, I'm very afraid.
What if you are out in the backyard and you're trying to do some landscaping or something and you see like a big honking spider with muscles and hair on its legs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like flowing locks.
Yeah.
Or a snake, a 6 foot, maybe it's a black snake. Maybe it's a kind of snake that you're not sure if it's water moccasins and something else look alike, but the diamond shape is the bad one. I don't remember the other one.
Yeah.
It's a rat snake.
I
is
don't
the other
either.
one.
My only criteria is which one's going to go farther when I hit it with a wiffle ball bat.
Is that you're going to take a wiffle ball bat to this thing?
Yeah.
Ryan's always armed with a wiffle ball bat.
If I'm outside, that's what I'm
Just in
doing.
I feel like a 6 foot snake's just gonna catch that.
Can I
Like,
interest
what are
you
doing?
in an STS armory? Still up your game a little bit. You got a big yellow. Nobody will see it coming.
Nobody
Plastic.
sees it ever coming because I conceal it. I conceal carry my wiffle ball bat.
You have a permit for that. It is Illinois. You realistically, can you handle a spider situation in your house just fine?
I'm the only one that can.
Well, I do believe that in a lot of households, the person who has to handle it doesn't at all want to handle it, but knows that otherwise you'll just be coexisting.
Oh, I don't want to handle spider situations. I'm offended because I'm like, you weren't invited here. We have a little talk.
Are you talking about the spider or
Yeah.
your wife?
No. My wife was invited.
Yes.
I carried her across the threshold. She didn't even have to step in the house. I did
you
it all for
ask her to do that or against her will?
She was not expecting it. I came up from behind like a linebacker. But when we were inside the house, she was like, oh, no, there's spiders everywhere. And I was like, shoot, I should have rehabbed this house first. This is a story that is going in weird directions.
I just wondered if you are handling spiders like a man.
Yeah.
Do you handle snakes like a man? Or in that instance, are you like, all right, kids, let's get in the house maybe forever?
I can tell you that one time I looked at a house as far as investment property goes, and it had a snakeskin in the attic.
Ooh.
It would have been a great buy, but that I said, nope, I'm done. No thanks.
Can you handle a snake in the if there's a snake in the yard? Are you going to do something about it?
Yeah, like I said, I will approach it and I will tell it it is time for you to get hit with Mr. Wiffle Ball.
You're going to reason with it?
Yeah, we always talk first, me and whatever I'm about to kill or hurt.
It's like Ka.
Yeah,
from
because I wanted to
Jungle
feel
Book.
like that guy's not a jerk,
Trust in
but
me.
he had to do his job, and so I have to tell it. This is the situation we're in.
Trisha, can you kill spiders or snakes? Or
I
I,
can
mean, you don't really need to kill a snake as much as you might have to
I
relocate
can
it.
handle a spider. I could not handle a snake.
Yeah.
I lose the snake battle.
See, the way I kill spiders, if I have to, sometimes there's a spider and you're the only one home, and you like look around and you just consider all your options.
Mm-hmm.
My way of killing a spider is to cover it in shaving cream, like all of the shaving cream.
Oh.
If it crawls away, you'll know
like
where
a
it goes.
waste of shaving
Oh
cream.
no, it's the best use of shaving cream. My husband has a beard; he doesn't even really use it.
Well, you know, it'd be two birds, one stone.
How do you use? I'm
You
going to buy
found-
stock in that shaving cream.
Yeah, you find a spider on your husband's face.
Sorry, we got to shave your beard. No, if you cover it in something that's foamy, then if the spider does, usually they don't get out of it, but if they do, then they leave a trail to wherever they went. So they can't scurry unnoticed.
It seems like a lot of work for something that could just be smashed.
One involves person to spider contact that I am not willing to do. But I'm not handling a snake. But it's just like sheer size.
Scariest situation I could ever imagine with a snake is if there's like tons of them coming out of a woman's head. I'd be like, no, I'm not even going to look you in the eye.
Brad, snakes or spiders?
Spiders are worse. Snakes I can relocate without killing. Spiders, I always kill them.
You don't have to kill the snake.
No.
Unless it's a poisonous
I
one.
used to not kill spiders, but then I got pregnant and I've been smushing spiders right and left. I've no mercy. You're in my house. I don't have time.
I'd be remiss to not tell you about Point Pest Control. And I said, come nuke the house. And they did. And we've had no spiders since.
Burn it down.
It was cheaper than buying a new house.
Woman arrested for stealing a van meant for mortuary services. A Texas woman is behind bars for stealing a van with a body in it.
Oh, no.
I know. There's a lot of bodies. Was
there a snake?
Annie, are you okay? No, it is a man's body, I believe. The woman swiped the van from a hospital around 7 p.m. She only made it a couple of miles before realizing that she had a passenger and bailed. She was arrested. She's not only charged with stealing the van, but also with abuse of a corpse. Annie, are you okay with minivans?
Yeah. Now is when I tell you about Cassins, where I got my Pacifica from, and I love it. I had to drive my husband's Jeep. We had the radio replaced in my van, and so I was driving the Jeep to come to work, and it's a Jeep Grand Cherokee L. I'm getting nods from the men in the room.
No,
I don't ever drive
know what
it.
you're saying. I'm
The
just nodding.
Pacifica, if you've ever driven a Pacifica, I hear a lot of people who drive them when they rent a vehicle on vacation, and they're like, it's amazing. It's like a spaceship. I'm like, I know. But it's easy, so easy to drive. You have everything you need at your fingertips. Way more space than you think you do, but it doesn't drive like a full-size SUV, which is what I had been driving lately. And I like being in that Jeep, but I leave the driving of that thing to my husband. It's much more sizable. You were driving the minivan today, I saw.
That's going to be a permanent switch for me, yeah. You saw my license plate, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's how you knew it was me. Yeah, I got that in high school. Kind of regret that.
I am not interested in a license plate that identifies me anywhere
I
I go.
know, it was stupid. I was like, 16, I'm going to tell everybody who I am.
Do you know that you could change that license plate instead of renewing it?
It seems like a lot of work.
It's the same amount of work as renewing it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always there. And it was fun when my wife drove it because I'm like, haha, you took my name. You have to drive that. But now we're switching cars.
Homeowner finds their house on Zillow for $10,000. A Missouri couple who bought their home for nearly $1 million in 2019 was shocked to find it listed on Zillow for $10,200.
Is that binding?
Yeah,
The listing
sorry, I bought
it. The listing stated, once a year we sell one or a few of our homes to first-time home buyers under $25,000. This is done to bless a family or individual that needs it, but also as a tax write-off for us. The Kansas City Star called the listing and received a response saying that interested buyers should send $200 through an online banking app to the owner's mom.
Totally legit.
And then they could move forward.
To the owner's mom. We just need $200 to mom over here.
It's not even the price of a normal down payment.
Annie, are you okay with how easily Ryan is scammed?
You guys can laugh all you want. I got $1 million house for $10,000 that I'm about to move into, I assume.
I bet you've written the check and the
Oh,
check,
yeah,
the check has been cashed.
The money's cleared.
The money
so I'm assuming the house is mine now.
I kind of feel sorry for him.
I forgot my question.
Don't. I'm
Like,
living in
the
the lap of
homeowners are
luxury
fine.
starting in July.
When you got scammed at Disney World, I felt terrible for you.
Well, yeah, you should. You introduced me to Disney World.
I did not introduce you to the guy you bought fake tickets from and told you repeatedly, don't do it, don't do it.
I said, do you know Annie? And he said, yes.
Shut up. Yeah, I'm sure he did.
And I said, is this
right?
legit? And he said, yes. So, again, your fault.
It's not my fault. You got one more?
I can if you want.
We want.
Okay, I'm trying to decide which one to do. Just give me a second. Camels escape their enclosure at Cedar Point, take unplanned stroll on the Midway. Cedar Point
Whoa.
spokesperson Tony Clark says the camels, quote, decided to take an unplanned stroll
When
just
you say
outside their home.
on the Midway, is that like a highway?
No, it must be a part of Cedar Park's park.
Oh,
So they were
I was
like
going to say, if you saw
cruising down.
transportation like the camels out, you'd be like, wow, this green initiative is getting out of hand.
We've gotten
Camels on the Midway.
Do camels fart? I bet they do.
They spit, don't they?
Not the
well, then I
female
guess
ones.
that must mean they fart too.
The female ones don't
Yeah,
fart.
the girls don't. No. They
Only the
don't do
male
that. He said the camels were quickly returned and they cannot figure out how they got out. Annie, are you okay with camel rides at petting zoos?
For other people. I don't want to be on a camel.
They go so slow. I always wondered what it's like to get up there and just kind of like
saunter,
try to stay on. Like
it's
you're just
exactly like you would imagine.
Have you done it?
Oh, yeah, I've ridden a camel.
I don't have any interest in doing that. I like the idea of horseback riding, but it's intimidating to me because those horses, like, if they got bit by something or decided they were spooked.
Oh, they could hurt you. Yeah, they're big.
Yes. Yeah, you could.
Camel feels different, though, than a horse. I don't know.
They're huge, though, too.
They are.
They're very big.
Camels are weird though because they can.
Oh,
you ever heard about how an octopus can escape from anything like the size of a keyhole? Camels can do that. It's in the Bible.
The eye of a needle, you goober.
That's all I have.
That's all I have. I think Ryan has more.
I think Ryan.
I got a good
Ryan's gonna
15
take
minutes
us
in
out
me.
here.
Anything else nice you want to say about Trisha?
Tons, but the music's playing.
Didn't
So,
stop you before.
Can't. No.
Just signal it to
Just
her.
do some- yeah, do some hand
Obnoxiously,
motions.
just out of view. We'll be right back. Android, Apple, something else. What kind of mobile phone do you use? Go vote on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I was just talking about Cassins. I appreciate them so much, not just for the vehicles that I've purchased there, and I've purchased at least 3 vehicles there. I appreciate them for the service that comes along with it. You know, when you buy a car, you want to buy it from someone you trust. I have also, in another lifetime, driven all the way to Kentucky to try to get a better price on a vehicle, and that worked out fine and everything, but anytime I had questions about the vehicle down the line, I couldn't go back to that dealer that I got a lower price on, and that can cost you in the long run as well. You want to be able to shop at a place that you trust, and Cassins is 100% a place that I trust. From the front office to the salespeople who have been there for years and years and years, usually a lot of turnover in auto sales, not at Cassins. These are people who have sold cars to generations of families. Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is there to make sure that your experience from the first time you walk in and maybe you're just window shopping to the time where you're bringing it back for the 30th oil change that you've purchased from Cassins. They're going to guide you through whatever you need and prioritize you in the process. They are good people. They have great vehicles and they have great prices as well. You can shop them online at CassinsSons.com, but you can also give them a call. Make sure you let them know if you stop by Cassins to see one of their vehicles that they have on their lot that Annie sent you. 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712. CassinsSons.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
What kind of mobile phone do you use? It's the subject of our YouTube live chat poll. We haven't discussed it much, so that means we probably will here in a minute and give our answers. We would like you to do the same. Type Annie Fry into the youtube.com and then it'll come up. Apple, Android, something else, or none of these. It's a Thursday, man. It's a Thursday. 2:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set here on a Tuesday afternoon. Yesterday, it was Dr. Fauci on the hot seat. We have more fallout from that. Today, Merrick Garland on the hot seat on Capitol Hill. All that and more coming up after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
It's like the perfect song to end the show.
Man, it sure is.
You want to take it from here?
I really don't. I'm not sure what would happen if I did. I'm afraid of what would happen.
If I just went down, if I just passed out over here and you had to carry the show, what would your immediate go-to be?
Well, first I'd say I'd give like a full health report on what you just did.
Oh, that's not good.
That you just fell down.
The show must go on.
Oh, no,
Somebody needs to attend to me over here, and you need to carry the show.
Yeah, but it's the Annie Fry Show. People
It's not
would be
the
tuning
Annie
in,
Fry's passed out on the floor
and
show.
they'd be going, "What the heck happened? She was just talking," and I'd be like, "I think she's alive, but I'm not sure."
And then what?
High drama. I think we'd go through that for probably a good 15, 16 minutes. And then if you were dead,
The good thing is that at that point, nobody would be around to hear.
yeah, by the time we got through the health report, which would be detailed, I would then transition to just the latest in polling.
I'm going to pull up some polls here, but
Yeah.
I can be pretty assured that 4 out of 5 dentists agree.
Oh my gosh, I think she's dead. Let's check out the latest from Nevada. Real Clear average out of Nevada has Trump dropping a couple points in the last week.
You'll know that when the polls hit, I'm toast.
Yeah, she's gone.
She's not coming back, folks.
She's gone. Let's transition to November. I don't want to look backwards anymore. Let's look forward.
The YouTube live chat poll, what kind of mobile phone do you use? Android, Apple, something else, or none? I am an Android user. Ryan?
Apple.
I'm an Apple user as well.
Lifer? Have you always had an iPhone?
No.
How long until you became an Apple user?
I was a late adopter to the smartphone in general, and I was Android first because I thought Apple seemed a little intimidating. I didn't like the whole Apple world. But after having an Apple and an Android...
Like a true cult, they sucked you in.
They did. They absolutely did. And I just find that I have less problems with Apple's... And maybe I was just not buying the right brand of phone because there's so many different versions of smartphones.
How old were
outside
you
of
when you
Apple.
got your first iPhone?
I Oh, iPhone?
Isn't that the only kind of Apple phone?
Yeah, no, I was going to answer for smartphone, which was 2014, but iPhone would have been probably 2019, 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
What about you, Brad?
Apple all my life. I say all my life. It's the first smartphone I ever had. I was a late adopter of smartphones as well, but that's just because I couldn't afford one. But yeah, I think it was an iPhone 4 was my first iPhone.
What's the current iPhone?
14?
No, it's more than that. I think
Is
it's
it?
like a 16
Is
or
it
something
really?
like that. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm never current.
Just
No.
pause to picture that.
I've never current.
Whenever you have the opportunity or the need to get a new phone, are you only shopping iPhones?
At this point, yeah.
You would not go away from an iPhone.
I mean, if somebody convinced me that an Android was better and I had experienced it, that's the thing, is it's just become second nature to know where everything is. It's so easy to transition from what you're doing to a new phone because you can just upload everything you have onto a new phone.
Yeah, Androids work the same.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But
so
Android to Android,
it's
Apple
hard
to
to switch brands for that reason.
Are you an iPhone lifer?
I've been an iPhone lifer, but I'm not bound to iPhone. I'm willing to switch, but the reason's got to be pretty good.
BBC is reporting that Apple is to boost its Siri voice assistant and operating systems with OpenAI's ChatGPT as it seeks to catch up in the AI race. The iPhone maker announced the Siri makeover along with a number of other new features at its annual developer show on Monday. It is part of a new personalized AI system called Apple Intelligence that aims to offer users a way to navigate Apple devices more easily. Updates to its iPhone and Mac operating systems will allow access to ChatGPT through a partnership with developer OpenAI. The OpenAI partnership is what Elon Musk said that if Apple goes through with this, Elon Musk tweeted out that, or posted whatever on X, that if Apple goes through with this, he may ban iPhones from his businesses. Like, you won't be able to bring them on property.
Well, that's it. I'm out. It was going to take something major like that.
I feel like Elon Musk would be the guy who would employ the thing. Like, he knows about AI. He's been involved in the development of AI. And if he would be frustrated by that, I'm like listening in. And I don't in any way, shape, or form think that, Androids are like Google operated. It's the amount of information that is out there on us individually, no matter what you use, is significant. I use a MacBook for my computer. I have no problem with Apple as a product or as a company, but I've never been into the iPhone thing. And I don't really feel the need to. And plus, the camera on the Galaxy phones is fantastic.
It's not a cult to me. It's just ease of use at this point.
Mm-hmm. None of you. Yeah. I've never heard either of you guys being like braggy about your iPhone.
And I know people who will do that about Androids too, though.
Yeah, the Android people who do that are doing it because of the iPhone people who do it, but they do it with the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Android person will bring it up without the iPhone because they're just used to that argument existing. I'm really surprised by this, but we asked you, we got 250 votes in today's poll. 1% of you said none, so there is always one of you that says maybe you don't have a mobile phone, but none. 2% said something else. So 97% of our audience is iPhone or Android. 53% Android. That kind of surprises me. I thought Apple would win the day, but it didn't.
What, it was only 40-something% Apple?
44.
No, it's pretty even, though.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty interesting surge for Android over the course of time. Thanks for listening today. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next. Be sure to subscribe to the Annie Fry Show podcast. Go to anniefryshow.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
If you're ready to improve the look and the thermal efficiency of your house, I've got a great deal for you. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are now offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. That is a fantastic way to get your job done and start taking advantage of the savings and thermal efficiency as we head into these hot summer months. You're going to love working with Window World. I am a satisfied customer. I've got 2 of their windows in my house now, and they're beautiful. They're perfect. I have a lifetime warranty that